This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine, Volume 14 from 1999. The cover highlights upcoming Dreamcast games with a focus on Milius Spiritus and Soul Calibur as the latest information. It also mentions Espion Agents as a new screen reveal and NEC Home Electronics Home Entertainment Show. Featured games include EGG Carrier, Web Mystery, Prophecy Dreaming Cat, Brave Knight, and Red Line Racer. The Dreamcast Complete Guide includes strategies for The House of the Dead 2, Blue Stinger, and Key to E, White Illumination. The cover promotes optimizing your Dreamcast network environment. It also mentions Sega Saturn news and includes a character illustration as the main visual. The magazine is priced at 420 yen and is issue volume 14 for April 23-30th, 1999. This page showcases an advertisement for the game Web Mystery, The Evolving Dreamcat, which was unreleased outside of Japan. The page features a man named Keita Tsuda, age 28, who is described as being drawn into a mysterious bar, or labyrinth, marrow, found on his computer while tired from work. This internet bar seems to be member-only and allows users to enjoy the internet. The text describes people engrossed in their computers at the bar, highlighting the mystery element. The man in the advertisement is shown looking at a computer screen with a strange image, and the text mentions that, on the HP of Cat's Eyes, a middle-aged man is depicted bleeding and collapsed, described as incredibly realistic and creating a sense of unease, hinting at the disturbing content within the game. The bottom of the page includes the company information for Mebius. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Cat's Eye Diog. It is advertised as a mysterious adventure game set in Japan, Korea, and Hong Kong, involving the internet, mysterious videos, and murder incidents. The game was set to be released on April 22, 1999, priced at 6,800 yen, and would be on 2 GDROM discs. Screenshots hint at the game's visual style and characters. This page is the contents page of a Dreamcast magazine, highlighting the main articles and features in this issue. It announces a spring special feature about Sega's free internet provider service extension and exploring the new Dreamcast. The contents also point to articles on optimizing the Dreamcast network environment and a special report showcasing highly anticipated Dreamcast titles. The game titles listed include Mercurius Pretty, End of the Century, ESPIONAGENTS, Shenmue Revive. So say, let's make a pro baseball team. Climax Landers, Bioweapon Expendable, Soul Calibur, Brave Knights, Elemental Gimmick Gear, Weeby Mystery Yochimu wo Miru Neko, Carrier, Redline Racer, Nanatsu no Haikan, Senritsu no Bishao, and Sunrise Heroes Story. This page is a Dreamcast Magazine content overview and game index page. The Dreamcast section highlights complete guides for titles like The House of the Dead 2, Blue Stinger, Super Speed Racing, Key to E, White Illumination, and Get Base. The Sega Saturn section previews upcoming software like With You Mitsumete Itai and provides guides for Derby Stallion, Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3, and Key ES Yori. There are also listings for Sega Saturn Magazine Data Station, Sega Saturn Reader Race, and a special project related to Ryoko's Chat Room. The game index on the right side lists numerous Dreamcast titles with page numbers, including Web Mystery, Yochi Mu Omiru Neko, Espionagents, Elemental Gimmick Gear, Carrier, Climax Landers, Shenmue, Soul Calibur, Sonic Adventure, D2, and Blue Stinger, alongside Sega Saturn games also with page references. This page highlights the third CESA Awards ceremony that took place on April 3rd at Roppongi Velfar. The awards covered games released between January 1st and December 31st, 1998, and were voted on by general users and CESA members from 342 nominated titles, with 54 titles making the final cut. The grand prize was awarded to Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, N64. The article notes that over 130,000 general users voted, and Zelda received overwhelming support. On the Sega Saturn, Machi won the Scenario Award, and for Dreamcast, Sonic Adventure received a special jury prize for its innovative gameplay and market impact. The page also features a screenshot of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The bottom part of the page is the Dreamcast Magazine weekly news section, with the dates Friday 4/9 and Thursday 4/22. This page highlights several news and announcements. Sonic Adventure won a Scenario Award with the director planning future content. Sega extended free Dream Passport access and is launching a Dreamcast version of Web TV. The 99 Spring Dreamcast user event in Kyoto, March 27 to 28, will feature games like The House of the Dead 2 and Get Bass. A limited edition Dreamcast, designed by motorcycle racer Tadahiko Taira, is available, 500 units, 39,800 yen, with initial sales in Tochigi and Twin Ring Motegi. The third CESA Awards recognized The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Grand Prize, and Excellence Awards for several other games. Sonic Adventure received a Judge's Special Award. An advertisement promotes the FIM 99 Road Race World Championship Series at Twin Ring Motegi. This page highlights several events and news items. First, it announces the 99 Tokyo Character Show event in July, mentioning it as a gathering of popular characters and a dream festival. The event will feature anime, games, and character merchandise. Next, there's an info section about projecting user-created dot paintings onto the VMU screen, related to Climax Landers. It seems there was a contest where users could submit dot paintings to be featured in the game. Another event is announced related to digital horse racing newspaper My Trackman, featuring horse racing commentators and fans. This was a public event held in Shibuya, Tokyo, where guests discussed horse racing predictions using the My Trackman software, demonstrating simulations and race analysis. An information piece announces the start of the Sentimental Graffiti 2 radio show called Only Sentimental Night 2 on TBS Radio. This show focuses on talking about life's failures and themes, and encourages listener participation. A present section promotes the novelization of the Sega Saturn game Kiss Yori, and mentions that 5 copies of the novel will be given away. The novel is based on the worldview of the Kiss Yori love simulation adventure game. Finally, a news section reports that the major game shop chain, Brute, has gone bankrupt due to changes in the used software market. It mentions that the company expanded rapidly during the 90s, but struggled to adapt to market shifts, resulting in a large debt. However, franchise stores will continue to operate. This page announces several Dreamcast-related updates. A new network service is launching for aerodancing featuring Blue Impulse, allowing replay sharing and online lessons. Dreamcast Magazine readers can win tickets to an advanced screening of the movie Blade. A new Ruri Hoshino figure from Mobile Battleship Nadesico, The Prince of Darkness, is in development. Music releases on April 21st include Wilberry's In My Soul of Souls, Andrea Bocelli's Songyo, The Hylos, Sumi Tabatsu, Gridseeker's Gridseeker the Dictator of Justice, INNTOMO's Harukaze no Yutsu, the Zombie Revenge and Magical Truck Adventure soundtracks, and a new single. Finally, there's a prize draw for readers. The Dreamcast software sales ranking reveals a strong showing from Sega. The House of the Dead 2 inches tops the chart, with impressive debut sales. Blue Stinger and Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes secure second and third places, respectively. Other Sega titles like Yukawa Motoharu's Professional Treasure Hunt and Super Speed Racing also feature prominently. Hudson's Kitahi, White Illumination, and Sega's Sega 2 inches retain positions, though with lower weekly sales compared to their peak. Capcom's Power Stone and Koei's Sangokushi VI and Nobunaga's Ambition, Shoshiroku with Power-Up Kit, complete the top 10. Overall, the list highlights the Dreamcast's diverse software offerings, ranging from arcade-style shooters and fighting games to racing, strategy, and adventure titles. This page ranks the top 30 most anticipated Dreamcast games based on reader votes. Shenmue tops the list with 602 points, slated for an August 1999 Chapter 1 and Winter 1999 Chapter 2 release. Grandia 2 takes second place with 489 points, with no release date set. Resident Evil Code Veronica is third with 453 points, planned for winter 1999, and utilizes new features like visual memory. Other notable titles in the top 10 include Maken X, Soul Calibur, Cyber Troopers Virtual On, D2, The King of Fighters, Dream Match 1999, Mobile Suit Gundam, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Street Fighter Alpha 3, Dynamite Cop, and Seaman are also mentioned among the ranked games. Revive is highlighted as the weekly pickup. Mercurius Pretty End of the Century is listed at number 37. This page showcases 2 distinct game rankings and previews of upcoming titles. Firstly, There's a Reader's Choice Top 20 ranking of games readers wish to see ported to the Dreamcast. The top spot is taken by Rent a Hero from the Sega Mega Drive, followed by the Sakura Wars series from Sega Saturn and Dead or Alive 2. The list reflects a desire for ports from various platforms, including Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, PlayStation, and arcade games. Secondly, there is a Video Game Income Ranking Top 15, which lists the top-earning arcade games. Virtua Striker 2 Ver 99 and Virtua Fighter 3 TB, both from Sega, occupy the top 2 positions. Other games in the top ranks include Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio, Tangram, Spike Out, and Street Fighter 03, showcasing the popularity of Sega and Capcom arcade titles. The page also features weekly pickup previews. One preview is for Airline Pilots, a flight simulation game using the Naomi arcade board, emphasizing its realistic depiction of airports and cityscapes. Another preview is for Ring Out 4x4, a versus driving game also on the Naomi board, which was previously shown as Buggy, Carry, at the JAMA show. This game is described as a new sensation, push-out game, with more details to come in the next issue. The Dreamcast release schedule highlights software and hardware releases from April to December 1999. April saw titles like My Truckman and Morita's Strongest Shogi. May brought Capital City Battle and Elemental Gimmick Gear. June featured The King of Fighters, Dream Match 1999, and Seaman. July included Super Producers and Akihabara's Cyber Team Brain Pop, Pies. August brought the highly anticipated Shenmue Chapter 1, Yokosuka. ESPIONAGENTS was slated for September, followed by Nabaki, WWW Soccer, and Panorama Cotton 2 Feet in November. December was the busiest, with Grandia 2 Feet and Air Force Delta among others. Numerous unreleased games such as Soul Calibur and Shenmue 2 Feet were also listed. Hardware releases included the ASC2 Mission Stick and Neo Geo Pocket / Dreamcast connection cable. This page showcases the Reader's Race for Dreamcast games, a ranking system based on reader votes. The top-ranked games are listed in a table, with Sega Rally 2 at number 1 followed by Sonic Adventure. The House of the Dead 2 is newly ranked at number 3, and Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes is at number 4. There is a featured review for The House of the Dead 2, highlighting it as a must-play arcade port with improved graphics and engaging gameplay, though some reviewers noted the difficulty was still high even in training mode. Also reviewed is a Dreamcast light gun peripheral, praised for being lightweight and compact, making it comfortable to use for extended play sessions. However, one reviewer mentioned a design flaw with the lens and suggested improvements for future versions. Finally, there is a section listing games expected to be ranked soon, including Mahjong Taikai 2 Special, Sangokushi VI, Nobunaga's Ambition with Power-Up Kit, Get Bass, and digital horse racing newspaper My Trackman. This magazine showcases reviews of 4 Dreamcast games. Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes, a near-perfect arcade port with simple controls and a 9.1052 overall score, is highly recommended. Blue Stinger, an action game praised for its graphics and humor, earned an 8.8461, despite camera and movement issues. Super Speed Racing, a racing game with beautiful graphics and improved handling, received an 8.5714 for its exciting gameplay, although speed perception was questioned. Finally, Yukawa Moto Senmu no Ota Kara Sagashi, a fun, simple visual memory unit game from a prize campaign, earned a 7.0625 and was enjoyed despite its limited availability. This Dreamcast page ranks peripherals by reader vote, with the Puru Puru Pack, VGA Box, and Arcade Stick topping the list. Reader comments highlight enjoyment of fishing games and the end of SegaNet's free trial. The page also anticipates Golden Week as a good time to acquire a Dreamcast. A contest called Reader Race challenges readers to predict the ranking of Redline Racer. Game reviews include White Illumination 7.0, praised for its style, Real Sound Kaze No Regret 8.0, commended for its audio, and Get Bass 7.0, noted for its authentic fishing experience. Finally, a weekly special present offers Dreamcast arcade sticks, visual memory units, and a game to 5 winners. This page features reviews for 2 Dreamcast games. The first game reviewed is Morita Shogi 64. Morita no Saikyu Shogi. It's described as a strong shogi, Japanese chess, game, recommended for all ages. The review highlights its strong AI, noting that even at level 1 it plays strategically and capitalizes on mistakes, giving a sense of playing against a human opponent. The reviewers praise its thinking speed and overall completeness as a shogi title. It received a review score of 8 out of 10. The second game reviewed is Digital Horse Racing News, Might and Tracksman. This is described as a horse racing game focusing on data and simulations. The review mentions it allows users to download horse racing data, including race results and odds, for free. Players can use this data for simulations and predictions. It is presented as a useful tool for horse racing enthusiasts, highlighting its database features and data input capabilities. It received a review score of 7 out of 10. The page also includes sections detailing the reviewers, Hitomi, Masa, Kinoko Kusei, and Denpa Seinen, giving brief personal profiles such as hobbies and favorite games. It also explains the game scoring system used in the magazine. This page is an interview focusing on the Dream Passport 2 and the future of Dreamcast online services. Toshihiro Shibasaki from Sega Enterprises discusses the Dream Passport 2 and explains that the concept of Dreamcast is play and communication. He highlights that the Dream Passport 2 aims to make internet access easier and more enjoyable for users. Two key improvements in Dream Passport 2 are highlighted: support for Macromedia Flash, which enables richer animations and interactive content on homepages, and support for JavaScript, allowing for more complex interactive elements and button controls on web pages. The interview touches on the current state of Dreamcast's network service, noting that around 30% of Dreamcast owners are connecting online, and their average connection time is increasing. The goal is to appeal to the remaining 70% of users to encourage them to connect online by emphasizing easy internet access, email, and game-related online features such as Sega's official website Dreamcast, and online battles for games like Sega Rally 2. The intention is to expand online content and build communities, mentioning web-based games like Gurunavi Hot Springs, that was showcased at Tokyo Game Show as an example of future online experiences. Screenshots of the Dream Passport 2 interface are shown, illustrating the updated look and features. This page discusses the optimization of the Dreamcast network environment and focuses on the upcoming Dream Passport 2. There is a Q&A section addressing user inquiries about Dream Passport 2, specifically regarding its distribution and whether it will be bundled with the Dreamcast. The answers suggest it will be available for free to users, potentially as a version update on a blue disc, and there are considerations for bundling it with future hardware for new users. The page highlights new features of Dream Passport 2, including the ability to attach visual memory data to emails. This function will allow players to exchange game data for games like Chow Garden from Sonic Adventure, Baseball Tsukuri, which might refer to a baseball game, and Atsumete Godzilla, possibly related to the Godzilla series of games. Other improvements include a renewed interface for better readability, voice guidance for easier initial setup, and the Dream Flyer function that supports picture mail. Additionally, the article touches upon the topic of external storage and peripherals becoming available around the year-end, mentioning devices such as modems, mice, and keyboards to enhance the Dreamcast experience. Finally, it is noted that Sega acknowledges its responsibility as a network provider, emphasizing user environment and cost considerations. There is also an announcement about the extension of the free network period due to its popularity with users. The next page discusses ways to reduce your Dreamcast phone bill when connecting to the internet. It highlights that connecting to the internet on Dreamcast can be expensive due to call charges, and suggests using discount telephone services. It categorizes users into 3 types: those who access local points and want long-distance discounts, those who connect briefly but daily and need time-based discounts, and those who connect for long periods and need unlimited access services. The page then lists several telephone discount services from NTT, KDD, and DDI, such as Telewise, Area Plus, Telechoice, Time Plus, Telejaws, Telehodai, and Tokyo Telephone, tailoring suggestions to each user type to help save money on phone bills. To optimize your Dreamcast online experience in Japan, this guide details discount telephone services. 3 types of discounts are covered. Type A focuses on distance-based discounts, comparing NTT and KDD based on call distance. Type B introduces access time-based discounts, with NTT's Time Plus offering reduced rates for calls within the same area. Type C describes fixed-rate services, like NTT's Telehudai. ideal for long calls, especially during late night and weekend hours. The Telehudai plans offer unlimited calls to local or non-local numbers during specific times. The guide recommends combining services for maximum savings. For instance, using Time Plus during the day and Telehudai at night could result in a fixed monthly fee and is cost-effective for extended online use. This page is about choosing an internet provider for Dreamcast online gaming. It explains what a provider is and highlights that with the Dreamcast going online, selecting a suitable provider is important. The page lists several providers like NiftyServe, BigLoB, DreamNet, 2J4U, DTI, ODN, and Sonnet, comparing their sign-up fees, monthly charges, and features. It mentions some providers offer student discounts, and others have fixed-rate plans for unlimited usage during certain hours. It also briefly touches on using a provider search engine called Provider Explorer to help users find the right service. This page is about how Dreamcast users can join a new internet provider to get online. It explains two methods for signing up, either online or via mail with an application form. It highlights that credit cards are often needed for online signups, but bank transfers are possible when applying via mail. The page also discusses the Dream Passport software, emphasizing the need to update settings when changing providers. It mentions Dream Passport Ver 1.01 and clarifies that the older Dream Passport 1.00 Orange Disc cannot connect to the network. The page encourages Dreamcast owners to get online and enjoy internet services, even before paid services start, promoting the Dream Passport and its internet options like accessing the Sonic Adventure homepage, Dreamcast homepage, Sega homepage, and email. It also mentions Dreamcast as a content service offering email, internet usage, games, and downloads. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Mercurius Pretty. It's described as a fantasy simulation game of alchemical education of a spirit. The text highlights the game's premise of nurturing a spirit from a single seed. The page mentions that this is the first report in approximately 9 months, and that game screenshots are being shown to give a sense of the world. Guest illustrators are also mentioned as contributing to the game's visuals. Information boxes highlight NEC Interchannel as the publisher, summer release schedule as the planned release timeframe. Coot. Price is undecided. Coot. The genre is spiritual nurturing simulation. This page is a story digest page for the Dreamcast game Mercurius Pretty, a nurturing simulation game where you raise a small fairy. The page highlights the game's opening sequence and worldview. The opening explanation describes a world where civilization has declined, and a man returns home to find a homunculus in a box. This homunculus then travels to a mysterious and fantastical world. The world of Mercurius Pretty is described as not being like Japan but closer to Europe, with stone-built environments and detailed scenery. The page features character art of a blonde winged woman and a laughing bird-like creature, alongside screenshots showcasing the game's environments and gameplay. This page is a Dreamcast special feature, showcasing a game centered around raising a homunculus, described as an artificial life form confined within a glass bottle. The gameplay revolves around nurturing this creature through communication, training, and education, including reading and exercise. The homunculus evolves and changes its appearance and personality over a 48-day in-game period. Screenshots illustrate the homunculus at different growth stages, marked as stages 4, 8, and 12. The interface includes options like Study, Talk, Crystal, Atelier, and Free, suggesting a simulation-style experience where players guide the homunculus's development towards different types such as intelligent or wild, based on their nurturing choices. This page explores the Dreamcast game Mercurius Pretty, focusing on raising homunculi within the world of Varch Crystal. These artificially created life forms grow through adventures and experiences. Voice actress Mari Kokufu, who recorded her role on March 30th, expresses a desire to observe players' reactions to her character, a thoughtful and emotionally rich girl. Director Araki aims to immerse players in the game world, fostering a sense of connection with the characters. The game involves nurturing homunculi, who depart to the outside world after about a month, prompting speculation about the player's continued relationship with them. Players can enhance homunculi abilities through spirit summoning, which utilizes the power of summoned spirits to boost their skills across 4 attributes, ultimately leading to the homunculus's second stage transformation. The page includes screenshots and character art to illustrate the gameplay. This page is a feature about the Dreamcast game Mercurius Pretty, showcasing how guest illustrators are coloring its world. The game is set in a medieval fantasy world with alchemy and magic. The page highlights the guest illustrators who are designing the characters to capture the game's essence. It lists the main guest illustrators and their representative works, including Hirofumi Nakamura of Gunbird fame, in charge of character design; Takanari Toyoguchi, involved in Brigandine Grand Edition, released internationally as Brigandine, The Legend of Forcina, from the development team, also doing character design; Mami Ito, of Male Fakarum, published by Shinsha; Yoshitsugu Nishiki, known for Soltia from Core Magazine; Ruri Hoshina, who worked on Atelier Marie, released internationally as Atelier Marie, The Alchemist of Solberg, from Gust, handling character design; Shiji Otori, from Explosion Hunter Comics; Satoshi Urushihara, artist for the Langrisser series, released internationally as Warsong and Langrisser series, from Career Soft, handling art; Hidefumi Kimura, from Generator Gall series composition; Ikuto Yamashita, mecha designer for Neon Genesis Evangelion; Hederu Katori, from Okusaku, Elf, in charge of original character design. The large illustration on the page is by Hirofumi Nakamura. His comment mentions his preference for sharp, edgy designs, and describes the character as having a beast-like quality. Finally, the page introduces the four great spirits: the fire spirit Salamander, the water spirit Nymph, the wind spirit Sylphid, and the earth spirit Gnome, each accompanied by an image. This page showcases character illustrations from a project called Mercurius Pretty, featuring personality illustrators. It introduces four character designs: Lulu, the prostitute alchemist, illustrated by Utsuki Yayoi, who is depicted as a woman knowledgeable in alchemy and living in her own alchemy cafe; Princess Alchemist, designed by Koshime, aiming for a dignified princess look with a focus on her eyes. Then there is Padea, the female slave magician, illustrated by Takatsuki Takashi, who is depicted riding a turtle-like creature and is hiding in the alchemy cafe. Finally, there is a fourth character whose details are currently unannounced, but the illustration suggests it's a recognizable character. The artists provide brief comments on their design choices and the concepts behind the characters. This page highlights charming characters. It introduces two alchemists: Ernst, an alchemy apprentice who works at the alchemy cafe and diligently studies, and Frida, a skilled girl alchemist interested in a town connected to the great alchemist Paracelsus. The illustrators provide comments on their characters, with one mentioning drawing four alchemists, including a girl alchemist, a biological alchemist, a rich alchemist, and an exiled demon alchemist, stating a personal fondness for the biological alchemist's sister and describing the girl alchemist Frida as serious but hoping readers will like her. The page also features an illustration of a spirit of service, described by the artist Sajima as having a unique costume and wielding a wooden mallet, and another artist, Red Onion, mentioning wanting to create a cute and brave boy character with strength and will, saying it's the era of cute boys and encouraging Shotokan users. This page from Dreamcast Magazine presents character designs for the game Mercurius Pretty. It showcases three distinct characters: Earth Spirit Level 3, illustrated by Ikuto Yamashita, who describes aiming for a majestic and ethereal feel, emphasizing her beauty as a high-ranking spirit with a gentle yet divine and self-assured expression. Next is Heretic Inquisitor Saint Canon, illustrated by Kimura Mute. The artist focused on creating a design that fits within the game's world, emphasizing feminine curves and luxurious decorations inspired by other artists, and the Inquisitor's wealthy status. Finally, there's the Flame Demon, designed by Gouda Akira, who interpreted the character Brief as a high-ranking spirit, resulting in a design with patterns across her bare skin. The page provides a glimpse into the artistic direction and character variety within Mercurius Pretty. The next page introduces the world setting of Mercenaries' Spiritualities. It details two groups of characters. The first section is Main Characters. These are characters who directly interact with the player as the story progresses. They are not encountered randomly, but through story events. The characters showcased are Katia, Maid Magda, and Ruri. The second section is Characters appearing in the Alchemist Cafe. This section explains that the player can visit the Alchemist Cafe. Characters within the cafe provide helpful information for homunculus training and act as assistants in alchemy creation. The characters presented here are the Demon Lord Priest, Twinny, a material-loving noble alchemist, and fortune teller Esmeralda. This page showcases character designs from the game Mercurius Pretty. It highlights the diverse characters within the game's virtual crystal world, described as beautiful spring spirits and nightmares, and beings of different forms from humans. 4 characters are featured: the spring spirit, a woman in water; the nightmare, a horned woman with orange hair; the spirit knight in armor; and the basilisk, a large monster with a skull-like face. The text suggests players will encounter these unique beings within the game's virtual world. This page is a special report from Dreamcast Magazine highlighting NEC Home Electronics' upcoming Dreamcast game, Espionagents Industrial Agents for Active Espionage, described as their second Dreamcast title following Zeus Cross. This simulation game is slated for release in Japan in September 1999 for 5,800 yen, and is advertised as a new flagship title from the veteran manufacturer, featuring a unique game system and distinctive characters. The article also mentions special interviews with the developers and producers from NEC Home Electronics. The page showcases the game logo and artwork featuring the main characters. This page introduces Espionage Agents, a Dreamcast game where you take on the role of a commander during a time of heightened industrial espionage in the year 2000. Your skills are put to the test as you manage a team of agents in real time, viewing the action through a unique 3D multi-screen system, allowing you to follow 4 characters simultaneously. The game is described as a bold new system, where you issue instructions to your agents during missions, emphasizing strategic command. 2 characters are highlighted: Jeffrey K. Saunders, a 25-year-old American all-rounder agent with a background in military intelligence, known for his versatility. The second character is Sarah Rocket Luria, a 21-year-old British agent specializing in inline skating, enabling her to move faster than other agents. She transitioned from an office worker to a field agent after a successful rescue mission involving a daring 6-meter jump between buildings on rollerblades. The game uses a 3D multi-screen display, where players monitor and issue commands to agents in real time from 4 different perspectives. The player acts as the boss, an enigmatic figure who gives instructions to the agents. This game features agent instructions via an icon-based interface located at the bottom left of the screen. The game highlights the need for quick decisions through these intuitive action icons. 2 agents are introduced: Lin Lifa, a nimble 24-year-old Chinese acrobat and lockpicker with acrobatic skills, who turned to crime but was freed by her boss. Gursin Vladimir, a powerful 45-year-old Russian explosives expert with a limited lifespan due to radiation, joined the organization to atone for past actions. Screenshots showcase gameplay within an art museum, displaying agent stats, SPHP, and the action icons, emphasizing the clear and accessible interface even in development. This page introduces the concept of espionage agents and how situations within the game rapidly change, requiring players to adapt. It highlights how agents with unique skills must react to obstacles and accidents. The game mechanics are explained, mentioning SP skill points and HP hit points. Screenshots show gameplay in the Michelle Fowler Commemorative Art Museum, with agents using skills like hacking and responding to in-game events with dialogue such as "Someone is coming" and "There's something there." 3 agent characters are profiled: Gabriel Ernest Archangel, a genius boy; Cleopatra, described as a hierohypnotist; and Charles Phallus, a drug maniac who prefers to keep his hands clean. The game being previewed appears to be the upcoming stealth action title, Headhunter. An interview with the Espionagents development team, including Toyoharu Moriyama, Hiromichi Hashimoto, and Takayuki Ota, discusses the game's innovative 3D multiscreen feature enabled by the Dreamcast. This technology allows for the simultaneous display of 4 independently movable perspectives, each utilizing 750,000 polygons. The multiscreen enhances gameplay by showcasing multiple agents in different locations, creating realism and tension. Players remotely control these agents, giving commands in real time to infiltrate locations, hack systems, and overcome challenges. The team emphasized the Dreamcast's power was crucial for implementing this feature. Strategic coordination of up to 4 agents is key to success, and the developers implemented unique mechanics to manage multiple viewpoints, aiming to make the game engaging and challenging. This page is a feature on the Dreamcast game Espionagents. The developers discuss the reasons for choosing a spy theme, stating it allows for a dynamic where anyone can be friend or foe, fitting with the idea of neutral organizations. They highlight the game's focus on planned actions and organizational behavior, emphasizing the simulation aspects. Players issue instructions to agents, who then act based on AI, adapting to situations. The interview delves into diversionary tactics and organizational gameplay, noting that agents can be instructed with commands such as "leave it to you" or "just report." Combat occurs when enemies are encountered, with various types of battles possible. Sometimes, escaping is the best option. 8. Agent growth is tied to experience gained through missions, offering a raising enjoyment element to character development. The developers are aiming for a system where players can manage multiple agents simultaneously, viewing 4 screens to monitor all situations. Screenshots showcase the game's UI, with character portraits named Saunders, Ling, Archangel, and Cleopatra, alongside actions like hacking and investigation, and locations like Porta. Another screenshot displays the isometric gameplay perspective, with agents navigating a corridor. The page also touches on detailed character settings, mentioning that body specifications were defined from the initial design phase, emphasizing attention to detail in character design. The developers express their aim to create a unique and engaging game experience, hoping players will find it interesting. This page is a Dreamcast special report focusing on Shenmue, highlighted as the #1 most anticipated title. It announces the unveiling of new footage at the Tokyo Game Show. The report details the core game system, explaining the playfield concept, which aims for a realistic and large-scale world where reality and virtual reality merge. It emphasizes the time progression system, where the environment and people react realistically to weather changes with magic weather. The page previews various gameplay elements, including technique transmission, free battle, offering command-based 3D battles, and QTE battles for cinematic action sequences. Atsumete Shenmue is also mentioned, which involves collecting characters using VM, visual memory. The report notes that the Shenmue chapter Yokosuka is slated for release on August 5th in Japan, and development is 50% complete. The publisher is credited as Free, Full Reactive Eyes Entertainment, and AIS Entertainment. The character Chai is mentioned as a guide, and is featured in screenshots demonstrating QTE gameplay and free battle. This report covers new footage of Shenmue Chapter 1 Yokosuka for the Dreamcast, highlighting 3 key play modes. Mode 1 focuses on realistic movement and viewpoint control within a vast open world. Mode 2 emphasizes intuitive interaction through zoom and conversations, aiming for seamless communication. View mode showcases the game's high-quality, real-time CG graphics. The game is set in Yokosuka, August 1999. The report also details unreleased visual memory, VM, animations for various characters, adding a collectible aspect. 16 character animations have been distributed, featuring characters like Chai, Iwao Hazuki, and the popular Aya-san. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Shenmue. The game is set in Yokosuka and emphasizes a free quest system where the player needs to gather information from people. In a demo scenario described as Free Quest, the objective is to find a character named Terry within 3 minutes by seeking clues about a man wearing a skull pendant. The preview highlights the game's magic weather system, showcasing how time and weather dynamically change the atmosphere of the town from day to evening. It also introduces the zoom function, allowing players to investigate the environment closely, and emphasizes the ability to change viewpoints to discover details in the game world, even down to things like garbage cans. A key feature emphasized is the realistic and natural conversations with characters. Players can initiate conversations by pressing the A button, and the game aims to create believable interactions with various townspeople. The page shows screenshots of conversations happening in different parts of Yokosuka's shopping street, and mentions shops like the used clothing store, bento shop, greengrocer, and Asia travel agency, showcasing the detailed and interactive world of Shenmue. The next page is all about Shenmue and the exciting Chase QTE feature. This section focuses on a scenario where you have to chase after Terry in the shopping district. It highlights that Shenmue, being a fully interactive game, will have branching scenes based on your success or failure in QuickTime events. The article points out that if you mess up command inputs or timing in QTEs, you'll get different failure scenes. There's a Free Quest plus Chase QTE section where you gather information about Terry by talking to people in the shopping district before the chase begins. The Choice QTE branch scene explains that the game is designed to be very interactive and responsive to player choices, even in QTEs. It also emphasizes the realistic character modeling and facial expressions, The page also mentions that at the Tokyo Game Show, there was a special event for attendees related to this section of the game. There are details about how missing commands and QTEs can lead to game overs if you fail too many times. The article also notes how day and night cycles and weather conditions will affect the visual presentation of the game. Finally, there's a message from the sound team, presumably about the music in Shenmue and its development process, mentioning the original CD album and single CD release for the game. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Re-VE, which translates to Re-VE, Rebirth. It's highlighted as a trap adventure game and will be compatible with the Visual Memory Unit. The article focuses on the game being showcased at a game show and features interviews with the development team, producer Yamamoto Yoshihiro, director Takahashi Hiroshi, and scenario writer Inaba Hirotoshi. The team discusses their experience at the game show, noting the large number of attendees and positive reactions to Re-VE. They mention the game's development is still ongoing, and they aim to show something substantial by summer. The interviews reveal their satisfaction with player reactions, especially regarding the voice acting and the overall feel of the game. They are looking forward to presenting the full version of Re-VE and showcasing its game mechanics, emphasizing that it runs on Dreamcast hardware. This page previews a new element called Time Limit Event for the game Revive. The screenshots show in-game scenes featuring the main character Kibana and other characters like Akina and older brother. The page discusses the tension of being chased by time within a closed research facility. The developers mention that the game is still under development, but they are working hard to meet user expectations. They describe the experience as a science horror adventure game, where the protagonist and Kibana's childhood friend go to rescue her. The interview with the developers Takahashi and Yamamoto reveals that they are focusing on creating a game that players will find exciting and immersive. They discuss the development process and the importance of user feedback. They also mention that the scenario was created with the idea that the heroines were not present at the stage of Revive at first, and it depicts their usual appearance. The game's prologue involves receiving a letter, and the story revolves around Kibana, who lost her mother at the age of 5, and her longing for her mother. The developers seem very enthusiastic about the game and are working to make it a worthwhile experience for players. This report details Data East's Revive Suze, a Japan-exclusive Dreamcast title showcased at TGS 99 Spring. Attendees experienced the game through VTR presentations, playable demos, and character introductions. Revive is a trap-divergent story, with branching narratives influenced by player choices, featuring the direct search reaction system. The report includes an interview with producer Yoshihiro Yamamoto, revealing development progress and character designs with voice acting. It also unveils in-game dialogue for 3 characters, Kiha Kogawa, Ref Kano, and Yu Hodaka. Finally, the report mentions a stage event, Sentai Monosuke ni Daikei Dekarenja, possibly involving a live-action performance. This page details information about the game Revive to Rebirth, which was showcased at a games event. The page highlights a stage event communication featuring producer Yamamoto and voice actors. The event included game explanations by Yamamoto, enjoyable talks, and introductions to TDS and DSR. It also featured a recreation of character dialogue by 2 voice actors, creating excitement among fans, wondering if this dialogue would appear in the game itself. Voice actress Konita Miyako, who voices Suzuko, and voice actress Nayuki Mayuki, who voices Nozomi, were present at the stage event. The image movie to convey the worldview section discusses a movie shown in the game. This movie seems to be related to genetic research and mysteries involving characters. It hints at a sense of anticipation for the game's release. The theme of the story is the most recent incidents section, explains that the game's conversations revolve around characters discussing recent incidents. The focus is on portraying the characters' personalities through their daily conversations, which are not necessarily related to dramatic events. Character introductions are provided with profiles including names like Ogawa Haruna, Kitano Chiaki, Higashiyama Misao, and Yuzuki. These profiles list details such as age, birthday, blood type, height, weight, and hobbies, giving insight into each girl's personality and interests. The page suggests that the game emphasizes character interaction and slice-of-life elements. This page is showcasing the Dreamcast game professional baseball team, Wo Tsukuru, also known as Yakutsuku issues. It's celebrating the opening of the professional baseball pennant races and highlighting this baseball management simulation game from Sega, scheduled for release in late June. The page emphasizes a significantly changed game system and the mini stadium mode, which allows players to get into the game directly and give instructions to players. Featured are cartoon representations of baseball managers from various teams, like Yokohama Bay Stars, Chunichi Dragons, Yomiuri Giants, Yakult Swallows, Hiroshima Toyo Carp, and Hanshin Tigers. The screenshots show the game interface and the new mini-stadium gameplay system. The game is described as a sports development simulation for 12 players, priced at 5,800 yen. The next page introduces strategic depth in a baseball game, titled, Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team. It details how players can give precise instructions during matches viewed in a mini ballpark mode. By pressing the A's button, a command window appears, enabling player substitutions and strategic commands. The game offers more detailed tactics than previous Saturn versions, such as specific commands like end run, bunt, and bunt alert. Screenshots illustrate in-game views, showing command windows with instructions during gameplay. Furthermore, the page highlights a results-only mode, allowing players to bypass watching the entire match and immediately view the game results, catering to players who want to focus on team management and quickly see outcomes. The page also features cartoonish images of baseball team coaches or managers. This page is about the baseball game Power Pros Baseball on Dreamcast, focusing on the enhanced freedom in managing your pitching staff. It details the pitcher selection screen, where you can set up your rotation. You can designate up to 6 starting pitchers, an unlimited number of relief pitchers, and up to 3 closers. The page highlights the ability to freely arrange your pitching lineup to your liking, a feature emphasized for the Dreamcast version. Screenshots show player names listed under starting pitcher, relief pitcher, and closer categories, demonstrating how players can customize their pitching rotation and strategy in the game. This page is all about the Dreamcast baseball game, Professional Baseball Famista Dream Stadium. It highlights some interesting gameplay features. Firstly, it talks about delegating to the manager, which is great if you find setting up starting pitchers or batting orders a bit tedious. You can just leave it to the manager's AI, who will choose the best setup for you. Secondly, it introduces the second team system, like a minor league. You can send players there to improve their skills or recover from injuries. But be careful, once a player is sent down, they are stuck there for 3 turns. Another feature is player conversion. You can change a player's position, like turning a pitcher into an outfielder, which can unlock hidden potential. The page also introduces 2 key characters. Keina Matsuo is the secretary, described as a kind and service-oriented person who loves baseball fans. And for commentary, you have Deep Okubo, a former Giants catcher who's known for his fun personality, and Satoshi Asaoka, a popular freelance announcer famous for his enthusiastic play-by-play. The numbered characters 7 through 12 are also likely related to the game, perhaps team members or personalities within the game world. The next page is an interview with the developers of Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, also known as Yakutsuku. This interview features the director Sagawa Tatsuya, designer Kakui Tsuyoshi, and programmer Murayama Kenji. They discuss the improvements in the Dreamcast version of the game. The developers highlight enhanced motion capture for more realistic player movements, emphasizing that user feedback from the Saturn version was crucial in making changes for the Dreamcast release. They mention a deeper strategic element in the new version, where player actions and decisions are influenced by factors like runners on base. Programmer Murayama humorously mentions his in-game hair color change as one visual update, while also noting significant system-level improvements. Director Sagawa emphasizes the focus on making the game more strategic and immersive, particularly in player development and team management aspects. Designer Kakui details the animation refinements, including adding more motion patterns and improving catching animations to address oddities from previous versions. The overall tone is about refining the gameplay experience based on player input and pushing the game further on the Dreamcast. The next page features an interview with developers of a baseball simulation game for the Dreamcast. The title suggests the game is challenging, especially regarding doubles, but introduces a convert feature that allows players to develop new ace pitchers. The interview discusses aspects of baseball team management and player development within the game. The developers mention that the core concept is to strengthen your team, and that player individuality and training are key elements. They talk about incorporating realistic player motions and animations, even for unique batting styles, aiming for a more immersive and visually engaging experience compared to previous baseball games, possibly referencing the Saturn version by mentioning comical movements and transitioning to more realistic event scenes in the Dreamcast iteration using real-time CG. The developers emphasize user satisfaction and creating a game that fans will enjoy for a long time, They mention incorporating user feedback and desires, such as more detailed player motions. The discussion touches upon game difficulty, player training strategies, and new features in the Dreamcast version, suggesting improvements and enhancements over earlier iterations, aiming for a more engaging and deep baseball simulation experience. The next page is a special report about the Dreamcast RPG Climax Landers, which was released internationally as Time Stalkers. This article highlights the game system, which focuses on dungeon battles, and announces that the opening movie is complete. The game is set for release in Japan in June, specifically on the 10th, and will cost 5,800 yen, supporting the visual memory unit. The page showcases screenshots from the game's dungeon gameplay, and from the opening movie, along with artwork introducing the main characters. The text emphasizes the polygon graphics used in the game. This page reports on the Tokyo Game Show '99 spring event, focusing on the game Climax Landers, known internationally as Time Stalkers. The event featured director Naito and a mysterious character called Yogoruto. There was a creator talk battle, with notable figures from Konami, Capcom, and Atlus also in attendance. The page announces the availability of Tsuyudaku IV as a visual memory game download, which is related to Climax Landers. It details Tsuyudaku IV as a 3D dungeon real-time survival RPG with randomly generated dungeons. The page highlights a "Did you know?" section, explaining that in Climax Landers, the Y button can be used to change the viewpoint. It also mentions Dr. Anna and a VMS download feature. Finally, there is an image of the Yogoruto mascot character. This page delves into a thorough analysis of the battle system in Climax Landers. It explains how dungeons are structured using sectors, which are blocks that form floors. Each sector is further divided into 4 blocks. When encountering enemies, battles initiate within these sectors. Positioning within these blocks is crucial, affecting the range of skills and magic. The game uses a command-based battle system, not real-time action, despite having real-time elements. Strategic positioning is important for advantageous combat, requiring players to anticipate enemy movements and adjust their own. The article also discusses battle intention of monsters, where some monsters are aggressive and attack on sight, while others are passive. A check mode allows players to assess enemy battle intention to avoid unnecessary fights, or to prepare for strategic engagements against weaker foes. The article also highlights the battle ending effect, where the dungeon's original appearance gradually returns after a battle, offering a visual indication of location and progress. It emphasizes the importance of paying attention to detail, even down to the visual effects, showcasing the game's technical prowess. This page showcases monster and trap information for the Dreamcast game, Time Stalkers, originally released in Japan as Climax Landers. The page details how skills and magic consume VIT and MP, respectively, during combat. It introduces 3 monsters appearing early in the game: Amo, a long-armed knight-like enemy; Rula, a dark blue-shelled creature; and Mimanaga, a blue, point-eared, cloaked monster. The page also previews various dungeon traps players will encounter, highlighting that dungeons are filled with different traps waiting for unsuspecting players. Described magic types are fire, blizzard, and thunder. This page is a game preview for the Dreamcast title Expendable, also known in Japan as Seitaiki Heiki Expendable, which translates to Bioweapon Expendable. It's highlighted as a special report and focuses on the intense action, promising players the pleasure of destroying and killing. The screenshots showcase chaotic 3D shooting gameplay with explosions and futuristic soldiers in combat. The preview emphasizes the visceral nature of 3D shooting in the game and describes it as a return to the fundamentals of the genre, realized with impressive 3D visuals. The game, developed by Rage Games and published by Imagineer, is advertised as a shooting game for 2 players, scheduled for release in June at a price of 5,800 yen. This page is focused on the game, which translates to Living Weapon Expendable, known internationally as Expendable. The page delves into the game's background story, describing a future in 2463 AD, where humans have expanded into space and are living on planets. However, on one planet, something mysterious has happened, with over 300 people disappearing, and communication has been lost. The player takes on the role of a bioweapon called Expendable, created from human soldier DNA, and is sent to investigate. The tagline emphasizes the brutal nature of the game: kill or be killed, that is everything. It describes the enemies as machine-like creatures covered in human skin, and suspicious aliens, suggesting a chaotic battlefield scenario. The gameplay is described as simple, with players focusing on shooting and destroying everything, including environmental objects. It highlights the satisfaction of destruction and the feeling of being a wild beast in battle. The game employs a life-based system, acknowledging its living weapon theme, implying that players are not easily killed. Movie scenes are incorporated during battles, not just to advance the story but to enhance the sense of immersion and scale of destruction. Screenshots showcase the intense action, explosions, and enemy encounters, further emphasizing the chaotic and destructive gameplay. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Expendable, known as Expendable, Rearmed in Japan. The article highlights that the game is not just about flashy effects, but also offers strategic gameplay with simple controls and diverse player reactions. The weapon system features two main types of heavy arms: the main shot, which is long-range and powerful, and grenades for area effect damage in tight situations or against groups of enemies. The article emphasizes that nearly every object in the game is destructible, and this destruction is key to opening up new pathways and tactical options in combat, even suggesting destroying bridges to cut off enemy advances. The enemies aren't just small soldiers, but also include giant weapons and vehicles like heavy tanks and rapid-firing gun emplacements, and aerial attacks are also mentioned. One section describes a scenario where a heavy tank is relentlessly pursuing the player, destroying everything in its path, posing a challenge of evasion. The preview emphasizes the variety of enemies and the different combat approaches needed to defeat them, suggesting a deep and engaging battlefield experience. This page is a feature on the Dreamcast game, which was released internationally as Expendable. The article highlights several key aspects of the game. Firstly, it mentions the game features a diverse range of 16 stages set on alien planets, with environments including forests, volcanoes, and snowy mountains. These are rendered in full 3Ds, offering a sense of scale and immersion. Secondly, the article emphasizes the strategic use of the environment. The terrain, with its inclines and cover points, is not just for show, but can be used to your advantage in combat, allowing players to effectively attack enemies and avoid damage. Thirdly, the game boasts a two-player cooperative mode, dramatically increasing the strategic depth. Playing with a partner allows for coordinated tactics, such as flanking maneuvers and drawing enemy fire, making teamwork essential for success. Finally, the article highlights the detailed and impactful graphics. It notes the realistic depiction of explosions, blood splatters, and gore, emphasizing the game's visceral and intense action. The level of detail in depicting destruction and violence is particularly pointed out as a notable element of the game's visual presentation. This page is all about Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast, showcasing the high-end graphics of the DC version and focusing on the reveal of the second costumes for characters. It highlights that the Dreamcast version will visually show the second costumes in the character select screen, a feature not present in the arcade version, where the costume was only determined after selecting a character. The page features character portraits and descriptions for their second costumes. For Killick, his first costume is primarily red, while his second is primarily yellow. Xianghua's second costume is a red, Chinese penis-style light dress. Mitsurugi's second costume features a different hair color than his first, and white clothing, giving a changed masculine impression. Maxi's second costume is described as having a green and gold tone, drastically changing his atmosphere. The text explains that costume changes are not the only alteration. Even hairstyles are finely changed, showing a clear image change. It also hints at the potential inclusion of third costumes for some characters, like Voldo and Sophidia. The page also points out that weapon changes will be noticeable in the selector screen. A Soul Calibur point box announces that the game is scheduled for release in summer, is a 3D weapons fighting action game with undetermined pricing, and will support Rumble Pack functionality. A special report section indicates the game is 30% complete. The page ends with a speech bubble exclaiming, "Is battle preparation okay?" This page is dedicated to a thorough check of the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur, specifically focusing on verifying the graphics. It showcases screenshots highlighting the graphical enhancements in the Dreamcast version. Characters like Sophidia, Taki, Nightmare, Ivy, Voldo, and Astaroth are featured with descriptions comparing their first and second player appearances, and noting details like Sophidia's hairstyle and Taki's more feminine look in the first player model. The text emphasizes that Namco's Soul Calibur team is pushing the boundaries of Dreamcast graphics, aiming to exceed even the arcade quality in terms of character models, effects, and backgrounds, indicating a significant leap in visual fidelity for this home console release. This page focuses on the drastically improved graphics of the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. The feature highlights how the Dreamcast version's visuals have been thoroughly examined and enhanced compared to the arcade original. It points out the detailed character models and backgrounds, showcasing the texture and volume achieved through the Dreamcast's power. Specific details are mentioned, like the wire of Ivy's blade, which is clearly visible and detailed in the Dreamcast version, a feature not present in the original. The page also mentions character modeling, using Astaroth's first model as an example, stating the muscle definition and spike details on his shoulders and arms are top class for current polygon models. The text suggests that the Dreamcast version is a significant graphical leap, offering a more detailed and visually impressive experience. This page is focused on the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. It highlights several aspects of the game, comparing it to the arcade version and showcasing improvements for the Dreamcast. The page features character spotlights for Ivy and Nightmare, praising the detailed rendering of their muscles and bone structure. For Taki, the article mentions her signature move, Shikudan-style bomb leg, and the command input. The background section details the stages available in the game, such as the INVN Date Castle, Mitsurugi stage, Korodorto the Sanctuary, Sophitia stage, Hokoji Temple, Taki stage, the Pure Training Spot, Killik stage, and Ruins of Ostrinsburg Castle, Nightmare stage. It emphasizes the detailed stage designs and lighting effects that reflect on characters. The effects section mentions the use of God rays and elaborate effects for special attacks and guard impacts, noting the inclusion of dust effects for footsteps and detailed shadows. Finally, the page showcases a special move called Shanfa, Flying Swallow Leg, for Xianghua and its command input, highlighting its effectiveness in creating openings for attacks. This page is focused on the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. It highlights the improved graphics of the Dreamcast version compared to the PlayStation version, specifically pointing out the smoother and more detailed character motions due to the Dreamcast's superior floating point processing capabilities. The page mentions that even though both versions run at 60 frames per second, the Dreamcast version shows a clear difference in motion quality. It discusses how subtle changes in motion, like attacks and parries, are more refined and visually distinct on the Dreamcast. The text also touches upon adjustments made to game balance, including attack hitboxes and parry timing, suggesting refinements based on player feedback. It points out that these motion improvements and balance tweaks are significant efforts in development. Screenshots on the page showcase the characters Voldo and Taki in action, demonstrating the visual fidelity and dynamic movements being discussed. There is also a section detailing Taki's Yadori stance, explaining that attack properties change depending on whether an attack is initiated during stance completion or mid-stance. This page focuses on the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. It highlights several improvements and changes in the Dreamcast version compared to previous versions. One point emphasizes how rebounding attacks have changed. Another point details how visual effect changes make techniques clearer and easier to understand, specifically mentioning the smoothness of motion and the visibility of the ninja sword's trajectory. The page also touches upon changes to attack judgment, noting that motion updates could affect hit detection and range, making strategic play more crucial. Finally, the page mentions evasion attributes, pointing out that evasion techniques like sidestepping and crouching are important, and any changes in this area will significantly impact character balance. The page features screenshots of Killik and Taki performing moves, and also briefly mentions Nightmare. Move names such as Killik, Piercing Thrust, are displayed. This page focuses on a Dreamcast special report, showcasing the enhanced graphics of the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. The page is titled System of Change, and highlights how the Dreamcast version improves upon previous iterations. Screenshots feature characters Nightmare and Ivy, demonstrating moves like Nightmare's Slash Throw and Ivy's Whip Blade Light. The article delves into the game's unique input system, mentioning slide inputs, hold inputs, and the 8-way run system, all contributing to the originality and depth of Soul Calibur's gameplay. It emphasizes that even though the game was playable at TGS using controllers, the final version promises a polished and refined experience with intuitive controls and a wealth of techniques to master. The page suggests that the Dreamcast version aims to deliver a visually and mechanically superior Soul Calibur experience, staying true to the game's core appeal while pushing graphical boundaries. This page from Dreamcast Magazine is a preview of Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. The top section explains guard breaks by hold. It details how holding a button can lead to unblockable attacks. It shows examples using Astaroth performing a normal guard break, Cassandra using a hold variation of the technique, and Taki performing a hold technique as well. The move input for the hold technique is shown as down and Y button, then Y again. The next section focuses on attribute change by hold timing, specifically for Mitsurugi's Wari Taiko move from his EI stance, achieved with X plus Y. It shows how holding the button changes the properties of the move. A point box mentions that while hold techniques leave you vulnerable, they enable guard breaks. Mastering the timing and cancellation of holds is key, though challenging. The page then discusses techniques and first covers parry. It explains parrying as a way to nullify opponent attacks, a key feature in Soul Calibur. Mitsurugi's Katan Gaeshi, Fire Wheel Return, is highlighted as a parry technique and a guard impact move. Finally, slide input technique is explained, describing how quickly pressing attack buttons can execute slide input moves. Shenghua's Sokyoku, Koten, Crouching Tune, Ancient Melody, using down and B button is given as an example. The bottom of the page teases more Dreamcast version news from Namco in the next issue. This page is a preview for the game Brave Knight, a fantasy world-raising simulation game where the main character is a daughter adored by the king. The goal is to raise her for 4 years in the palace, improve her status, and capture the hearts of boys. Developed by Panther Software, it is scheduled for release within 1999, with the price yet to be determined. It is described as a raising simulation game where players can train their daughter to become a splendid knight and enjoy romance with over 10 girls. The page introduces some of the girls appearing in the game, including a character named Lemuria Arfolk, described as the eldest daughter of the Lord, who serves the protagonist's father, making her the first princess. Despite her royal status, she is approachable and friendly, but she may have hidden worries as a noble lady and secretly longs for a simple life in town like ordinary girls. This page introduces the Brave Knight training simulation game for Dreamcast. The game is set in a newly formed country where anyone can become a knight. The player is a knight in training and has 4 years to improve their reputation and befriend 15 girls. The page showcases 6 of these female characters. First is Ariana Arnold, the second princess of the country and Remelia's younger sister, described as slightly spoiled and concerned about being compared to her excellent sister Remelia. Next is Ariana McLeal, the daughter of the Duke McLeal and a childhood friend of Remelia. She is described as physically weak and prone to fainting, and considered a quiet child by those around her. Then we have Melia Reynas, a knight apprentice and the protagonist Junior. She is described as acting before thinking, a bit clumsy, and having boyish speech and mannerisms. Hiltel Lyle, from the powerful Lyle family, and a childhood friend of Remelia. She is described as selfish and arrogant, initially looking down on the protagonist. Lola Murray, the signboard girl at the tavern Silver Pavilion. She works as a waitress and is described as cheerful and good-natured, but also with a slightly mature side. Finally, there is Lilu Rodwell, Remelia's maid. Orphaned at a young age and taken in by acquaintances, she is a kind girl who works as a maid to avoid causing further trouble. This page promotes the game Elemental Gimmick Gear, an action RPG for the Dreamcast. The game, referred to as EGG, is announced as being 100% complete and ready for release on May 27th, priced at 5,800 yen. The developer, Hudson, states that the master version is finished, and the atmosphere within the team is very relaxed and positive as they head towards the release date. They express excitement that readers are beginning to understand the deep and serious world of EGG, and state that the day players can experience it is near, hinting at detailed gameplay introductions to come in future Dreamcast Magazine issues. The page includes in-game screenshots showcasing the gameplay and the game's logo and title in large text. This page previews a Dreamcast RPG, focusing on the resurrected memory fragment story element and the gameplay mechanics. The story follows Leon, who awakens after 5,000 years with amnesia. He is called Beta in his memories, and seems to be searching for something with 2 EGG units, alongside a companion named Omega. The page highlights the mysterious world and labyrinth setting, delving deeper into the puzzles. The game introduces Rafflesia, giant, vividly colored flowers extending from Faunia and used for fast travel. Players can utilize Rafflesia for quick shortcuts, described as surprisingly convenient for overcoming difficult terrain and accessing items in seemingly unreachable locations, offering a smooth, almost effortless movement system. The page concludes by mentioning the game's approaching release and a basic system total check. This page is a game preview for EGG, a Dreamcast title focusing on action and puzzle elements in dungeons. The game is introduced as moving beyond just story introductions to detailed gameplay mechanics. The page explains basic controls like movement using the analog stick with speed variation and a spin dash for faster movement, which consumes energy. The wire arm is highlighted as a movement technique to traverse gaps. Attack methods are detailed, starting with close combat punches and evolving into varied attacks with acquired items. Close combat involves basic punches with the A button, emphasizing timing and enemy range awareness. Ranged combat utilizes elemental stones for distance attacks, advising caution and environmental awareness during use. Button actions are described. The A button is used for punch, conversation, and item investigation. The B button initiates the spin gimmick, a spin dash move that starts after holding B and increasing rotation. It consumes energy and can be stopped by pressing B again. Screenshots showcase gameplay scenarios including combat, puzzle elements with water and pipes, and character dialogues. The text emphasizes that while combat is simple action, strategic thinking and puzzle solving are crucial for dungeon exploration and progression. The next page introduces the Flame Spinner, a new powerful item in the game. The Flame Spinner is used during a spin dash attack, making the EGG vehicle red hot and increasing attack damage. Operation of the Flame Spinner is described as a little difficult, and it uses elemental power each time it's used. Normal stages leave flames behind after use. The page also covers game mechanics, mentioning that the EGG vehicle's energy is displayed at the top right of the screen and depletes with actions, leading to game over if it runs out. Energy can be replenished by defeating enemies and collecting items, or by maintenance at shops in town for a fee. Saving the game involves approaching capsules found in certain locations and pressing the A button. These save capsules are not common, requiring strategic planning to reach them. Button functions are detailed. The R button is for guard, reducing enemy damage but not completely negating it, and movement speed is reduced while guarding. The X button is used for item selection and use, and the L button equips items. The page mentions that items consume elemental power and encourages conserving power, especially in boss battles. Items are selected via a window displayed by pressing the L button. There are around 12 item types in total. EGG, or Elemental Gimmick Gear, originated as military technology, but became widely adopted after mass production. The Royal Science Institute held the patent, requiring manufacturers to pay royalties, leading to the development of various work-related EGGs. Communication needs spurred EGG use in civil engineering. Advancements by Tokyo calendar year 1425 made EGGs affordable for the public. Initial models used expensive mental control, OMT, but general use models were manual. A national training facility and a burgeoning market for EGGs emerged, integrating them into daily life. The widespread adoption of EGGs fueled the Tokyo Kingdom's prosperity and development. The page includes images of different EGG models, including work and royal guard units. This page introduces the EGG competition meeting, highlighting how EGG machines, initially for everyday use, have evolved into customized fighting units. It describes the competition's origins as product tests in the Tokyo era 1427, where participants modify their EGGs for performance, speed, and even aesthetics. The page also details EGG FIT, a popular battle competition where customized EGG units clash. These battles, known as e-battles, are organized by the EFA EGG Fight Association. Enthusiasts heavily modify their machines, and specialized manufacturers even produce custom parts. The EGG fight events became incredibly popular, drawing large audiences, and were even broadcast on TV, capturing significant viewership. The pilots in these events are known as EGG fighters and have become figures of admiration for many, especially children. The Haraculum section offers a personal take, emphasizing the charm of EGG, appreciating its cute design alongside its strength and coolness. This section also mentions garage kits and model kits, suggesting related merchandise. Birthday Topics briefly highlights MOZ Volume 12 and a character Grand Prix. Finally, Gather! EGG Pilot further elaborates on the concept of EGG pilots and fighters, solidifying their heroic status within this universe. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast title Web Mystery: The Cat Who Sees Premonitory Dreams, which was released on April 22nd by Mebius. This 2-disc adventure game is priced at 6,800 yen and is touted as a unique Dreamcast experience, Leveraging the console's capabilities to deliver a cinematic mystery, the game centers around full-motion video sequences to tell its suspense story, and it uses 3 distinct screen modes to progress the narrative. These modes are movie screens for important story events, conversation screens that use still images and text for dialogue akin to a sound novel, and monitor screens designed to simulate a PC interface for gathering information. The gameplay is described as more akin to watching a drama than actively playing a game, with minimal player interaction and a story that unfolds primarily through movies and conversations, in a cycle of movie scenes followed by dialogue. This article discusses the Dreamcast's web browser functionality as integrated within a game, likely Shenmue. The game features a PC-like interface with desktop icons for various functions. These include WEB for browsing in-game websites, MAIL for checking emails, data for character profiles and viewing movies, config for settings, FIL for saving/loading, and XIT. The in-game web browser offers different pages, some with genre-specific content, like restaurant guides and game design tutorials. While the internet is simulated within the game world and not connected to the real internet, the content enriches the game world. Emails may contain clues or information crucial for progressing, and clicking links in emails can lead to websites needed to advance in the game. This page is about the mystery adventure game where predictive dreams are key. The story is set in an internet bar called Maison. The protagonist, Tsujita Keisuke, gets drawn into a murder case after witnessing predictive dreams. He encounters Mio, the heroine, at the internet bar, and their relationship becomes close. The main stage of the game is the internet bar Maison, described as an internet cafe with alcohol. Mio is a bartender who is skilled in cocktail making and tries to soothe Keisuke's heart. Other characters include the master of Maison, a mysterious bartender, Aoyama Tomio, another bartender interested in mysteries, and the popular idol Taira Makemi, who becomes romantically involved with Keisuke after he saves her. The gameplay involves Keisuke receiving an invitation from someone named DOG, leading him to the website Cat's Eyes. There, he sees predictive videos of murders. Initially, he dismisses them, but when the events in the videos start happening in real life, he can no longer ignore them. The page shows screenshots of the Cat's Eyes website interface, and a scene where the player chooses a key scene after a predictive video ends. This page is a preview of a Dreamcast mystery adventure game, potentially called something like Cat's Eyes. The game features prophetic images that ominously precede actual murder cases. Incident File 1 details the murder of a lawyer, and Incident File 2 focuses on the death of a pharmaceutical company executive. The main characters, Keisuke and Asami, are involved in investigating these incidents that occur in locations including Seoul, Jeju Island, and Hong Kong. The story suggests a larger, deeper mystery involving a shadowy organization possibly connected to these prophetic visions and murders. Gameplay will likely revolve around investigation and deduction to solve the cases. This page is an advertisement for Gateway's Fresh Start campaign, which is running until April 30th. It features 2 computer models, the Solo 2500SE laptop and G7/GP7450 desktop, with 3 packages for communication, business, and creative use, and a trade UP offer is also mentioned. The Ghoul Powers Reader Submission Corner features various anecdotes and comments. The current theme appears to be Dream Plaza, encouraging submissions about dreams and aspirations. Readers share stories related to the Dreamcast, including experiences with the game Seaman and excitement for Soul Calibur's release. Other submissions involve humorous incidents, such as a broken controller during Psychic Force. The page also highlights Uzuki characters: the naive Uzuki sister, the logical Uzuki brother, and the philosophical Uzuki cat, who also has a Q&A corner. The content combines personal experiences, game-related discussions, and lighthearted anecdotes. While a Saturn and Dreamcast general election results heading exists, no results are listed, implying the content is incorporated within the submissions. My Pet Boasting features reader submissions about unusual pets. Drawings and stories include Sugi Sugi-chan the bird, Chiba, Shumai the fish, Ibaraki, and humorous comic strips about fish from Yamagata and Akita. Omori Prefecture's submission is a strange drawing of M4 Seaman. The illustration garden theme is Soul Calibur. Submissions showcase characters and scenes from the game. including works from Fukuoka, Ibaraki, Kanagawa, Chiba, Ehime, and Hokkaido prefectures. These illustrations depict diverse scenes featuring characters and references from the game or related series, such as White Dingoes, Gundam, and Sonic Adventure. This page showcases reader submissions and various small segments. In the Girls Gossip Corner Sister's Secret Heart, readers share their thoughts, including one about starting a new school term and wondering about teachers, another on being called Granny at a part-time restaurant job despite being 18, and another about buying a Dreamcast, which their 6-year-old daughter has taken over to play Sonic Adventure and Virtua Fighter 3 TB, while she also enjoys Tetris. The Reader's Voice Spring Period section features reader-submitted comic strips on the theme of spring. There's a sentimental graffiti section, where a reader from Yamanashi Prefecture comments on a character from the game. The Guru comic section from Hyogo Prefecture has a reader speculating if W. Schneller is a model. In the Individuality is Various section, artwork is featured. Away. One from Tokyo is inspired by KOEI's Seven Bridges, Battle of Kawayajima, noting the use of pen touch in the drawing. Another from Oita Prefecture contains a collection of game characters including Pac-Man, Ghosts, Sonic, and Mr. Driller. Artwork from Tokyo promotes Super Invention Boy Canapan and Innovation Boy Canapan, mentioning the anime adaptation. Further artwork includes a zombie-themed piece and a cute monster character. And lastly, an image of Guts from Berserk with a comment about Griffith. This page showcases reader submissions and letters, and it seems to be a fun interaction page with readers of the magazine. The top section, titled Alien Forest, features fan art submissions of alien-like characters, with one particularly funny submission from a reader in Oita Prefecture named Uzura, featuring a rabbit-like character labeled Cosmo Sushu with B. Another section, Strange Party Garden, showcases fan-drawn Chow characters, likely inspired by Sonic Adventure. Examples include Zombie Chow and Madoto Chow. In the letter corner, readers are discussing game strategies and magazine content. One letter mentions a highest peak of ARPG game called Thor Seirei Okishiden in it. Another reader shares a strategy for a Saturn game involving summoning Bayo and Leon, suggesting it might be a role-playing game. There's also discussion about using the R suffix in speech, and a reader mentions receiving Guren no Yabu from SoftBank, stating they will play Saturn for another 10 years. The page also provides submission guidelines for readers who want to send in illustrations and letters, and contact information for submissions to Dreamcast Magazine. This page is an advert for a Sakura Wars song show photo book, highlighting that it captures the stage performance and features images of Hiroi Oji, also known as Ogami Ichiro. It also advertises Sakura Wars 2 Art and Setting Materials Collection Book and Sakura Wars OVA fan books, noting they are currently on sale. Pricing and page counts are listed for each book. Habit Bad features an interview with Daiichi Akitaro, director of Sexy Commando Gaiden, Sugoi Yo, Masaru-san. He discusses his unconventional path to directing, beginning with illustration videos and working on projects based on illustrators like Yumura Terihiko, before entering animation. He experimented with various animation techniques, including using music synchronization and stop motion. The interview also mentions other artists who have influenced him, including Suji Amakane and Yasui Tsuyoshi. The interview delves into Sexy Commando Gaiden, Sugoi Yo, Masaru-san, its popularity, origins as a manga in Weekly Shonen Jump, and its anime adaptation, which Daiichi took on while working on Kodomo no Omocha. The anime, produced in 1998, was a success, releasing on TBS and Bandai Visual, and selling 7 million copies. Daiichi included a ukulele lecture in the anime, and incorporated parodies, especially enjoying those of Kodomo no Omocha. This page is an interview with animation director Akitaro Daiichi, focusing on his career and approach to creating animation, mentioning that his unique and interesting world is created through animation. Here, he reflects on his experiences and how they are now useful. Daiichi discusses his work on promotional videos before moving into anime, noting that he initially worked with live-action videos and then transitioned to anime, eventually finding himself more drawn to directing and producing anime projects as he felt he was better suited to that rather than minute details. He mentions projects such as Kodomo no Omocha, Sugoyo, Marsupio, Toilet no Hanako-san, Urayasu Tekken Kazoku, Ojaru Maru, and his latest work at the time, Jubei-chan, which was airing weekly on Texas at 25 to 15 late night. There's also a small section advertising Samushin Yoshimatsu's Tankobon, Suguto and Saibayamon, which is a manga from the creator of New Century GPX Cyber Formula, a series about works collection with themes of selling and learning. It mentions Samushin Yoshimatsu Theater, which is being serialized in Dorimaga, will also become a tankobon, and invites readers to look forward to it. This page is a manga strip titled Samsung Yoshimatsu Theater, Round 21. Wait until you beat your rival. It's a comedic strip where the main character, a boxy figure with a number 32 on it, is preparing to play video games. The first panel has text about playing Street Fighter Alpha Marvel vs. Capcom, and how the character is good at arcade games and home console versions. The strip then shows the character getting ready to play, mentioning pressing the reset button. The character then seems to be having trouble inserting a DVD, saying, "DVD is not reading." The character is then instructed to do special training with a press play button. The strip then depicts the character putting in a disc and facing a challenge, possibly in the game itself, and exclaiming, "That's no good." The final panels show the character seemingly defeated and collapsing, with the text stating, "Blackout. Faint. It's too dark." And concluding with, "Too bad, huh?" The bottom text states, Samsung Yoshimatsu. Samsung Yoshimatsu, 1965 born. Osaka Prefecture native. Character designer, etc. He is a professional wrestling maniac and enthusiastic Robocon fan, who has a plain face called Junpei-chan, and mentions his works include Jurohai-chan. And he appears weekly on Monday late night at 25 to 15 on TV Asahi's Pro Wrestling Mania as a commentator. This page is an advertisement for the Sonic Adventure Navigation Guide. The guide is currently on sale and costs 1,300 yen plus tax. It is an A5 size book with 160 pages, in full color, and includes a special appendix booklet, Cow's Secret Album. The advertisement highlights that the guide covers basic systems and characters, common basic actions, special actions for each character, detailed explanations of action and techniques, and strategies for each stage. It also introduces hidden areas and provides tips for defeating mid-bosses and bosses. The special appendix, the Cow's Secret Album, teaches how to raise cow skillfully. The publisher is SoftBank Publishing. This page is all about new anime information, with a big focus on the anime movie Spriggan. It highlights the upcoming release of Spriggan on LD and DVD, scheduled for April 25th. The tagline says, "When the Ark's seal is broken, a holy war for humanity's survival begins." The page details the movie's staff and cast, and provides a brief story summary about the discovery of Noah's Ark in Turkey and the ensuing battle. Character introductions are given for Yu Omine, described as a skilled Spriggan agent; McDougal, a powerful psychic child; Jean-Jacques Monde, another Spriggan with speed; and Fat Man, an enemy. The page also promotes the original soundtrack release. Lastly, there is a topics section listing new radio programs starting in April on Cultural Radio. This page highlights anime releases and broadcast schedules across various formats. It features upcoming video and LD releases for series like Record of Lodoss War, Popolo Cross Story Volume 2, and the movie Slayer's Gorgeous. Also advertised are OVA releases such as You're Under Arrest, Nanako Kaitai Shinsho, and Twin Signal. The page also includes Devilman Lady Volume 3, and 218+ rated OVAs, Space Opera Augur Looter, and Royal Ancestor Kenji. A section for DirecTV promotes the anime shows Magical Princess Mako-chan and Jubei-chan the Ninja Girl, with broadcast times on specific channels. The Angels Cathedral page displays reader-submitted black and white pixel art, all in a 48 by 32 dot format. The submissions are inspired by games and other themes. Examples include a Virtua Fighter piece with Akira and Dural, praised for its contrast but needing detail. A stylish House of the Dead 2 logo benefits from more black dots. Great Mazinger is simple yet heroic, needing clarification on its focus. An undercover cop's character with a staff is cool, but could use reference materials for refinement. Leona from King of Fighters captures the essence of a female character, with suggestions to emphasize hair and eyes. Finally, Wing Zero from Gundam Wing features a slanted W and detailed head, with a suggestion for a single dot adjustment for balance. This page is dedicated to the art of creating dot graphics on the Dreamcast visual memory, offering tips and techniques to enhance your pixel art skills. It explains methods for irregular mesh and regular mesh patterns in dot art to make your creations more visually appealing. Sega Rally 2 is featured as an example of how dot art can represent game graphics effectively. There's a section announcing a lottery with prizes for submitting dot art designs to the Cathedral of Dots, offering rewards such as a Dreamcast console and new game software. They are inviting readers to send their dot art ideas and creations to the editorial department of Dreamcast Magazine at SoftBank Publishing, specifically addressed to the Cathedral of Dots. In Dory's favorite corner, Dory mentions receiving many letters from readers and expresses excitement about the upcoming game Shenmue, referring to the character Shenfa and its beauty. The page is clearly encouraging players to explore the creative potential of the visual memory for dot art. The next page is a column titled Black Ore by burning publicist Fumio Kurokawa, called Sweet Basil 138. Kurokawa discusses his memories of Roppongi in Tokyo, mentioning a stylish Chinese restaurant called Tung Fu that was popular during the techno boom represented by YMO. He reflects on the changing nature of Roppongi and talks about a place called Sweet Basil 138, which is a jazz live house in New York, and how it was reborn in Roppongi after being left untouched for a while. He reminisces about his youth and listening to music, naming artists like Christopher Cross, Bobby Caldwell, Al Jarreau, and Earth, Wind & Fire, recalling the emotional impact of these songs during his younger days. The page also includes a profile of Fumio Kurokawa, stating he was born in 1960 and joined Sega AM2 after working in the music and film industries. He was involved in promotional production, focusing on the VF series at Sega AM2, and worked on game distribution at a convenience store media company called Cube. The profile also mentions he was involved in game experience events at DS Square in Osaka Umeda Underground City. This page features an article titled Kawazumi Eishiki and Ninin Haori did a live performance. It details a live music event that took place on March 6th at Shinjuku Waterloo, performed by the band Kawazumi Eishiki and Ninin Haori. The band consists of vocalist and guitarist Kawazumi Eishiki and keyboardist Kigi Tomochika. The article mentions it was their first live performance in 7 years, playing original songs as well as music from games like Langrisser V, The End of Legend, and Wrestle Ranglith, Universe Elements. Additionally, there is a section titled My Style Game Music Composition Lecture RPG Edition 9, Anime Scene 2, discussing game music composition for RPGs and anime scenes. The author shares their experiences in composing music for game promotional videos, highlighting the shift in music production from using hardware to computer-based methods with tools like DAT and sequencers. Another segment titled This Week's Book introduces the Grandia Original Soundtracks album, published by Doremi Publishing and available since March 30th. The album comprises 4 CDs of music from Grandia, and the author mentions their involvement in editing the soundtrack. The page also includes a profile section detailing the background of a person involved in game music, mentioning work on titles like Grandia, Runa, and the Langrisser series, as well as music for musicals, stage productions, and Tokyo Disneyland. Finally, this week's Treasured Snap presents a photo of recording engineer Kobayashi Norikazu in a studio, who is mentioned as being responsible for the mixing of the author's work. The next page is an example questionnaire for readers of Dreamcast Magazine. It details how to fill it in and what kind of information they are seeking. The survey covers demographics like gender, age, education and occupation, reading habits, opinions on the magazine's cover and content, desired articles, and current and future hardware and software ownership preferences for both Dreamcast and Sega Saturn. It also lists example articles from the current issue and a large list of Dreamcast and Sega Saturn games for readers to reference when answering the questions about their preferences. This page is an advertisement for the official strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Arrow Dancing, featuring Blue Impulse. It highlights that the guide is available now and is an A5 size book with 96 pages priced at 1,100 yen plus tax. The advert mentions key features of the guidebook, such as detailed explanations for beginners, thorough strategies developed with the full cooperation of the development team, surface and reverse routes for all missions, stage appearance conditions, and commentary from supervisor Mr. Toshihiko Hashimoto, a former test pilot. The bottom text indicates SoftBank Publishing Company, Limited was the publisher, and that from April 1, 1999, it changed to SoftBank Publishing Company, Limited. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast off-road racing game, Buggy Heat. The advert emphasizes the wild and dynamic off-road experience and highlights the game's real-time driving motion. It also mentions a driver training function. There's a promotional campaign offering original goods as prizes in a lottery for 200 people, including MA1 jackets and caps with the Aerodancing title logo, QUO cards with original designs for both Aerodancing and Buggy Heat, and Buggy Heat t-shirts and caps featuring the Tricky Diamond logo. The page also features screenshots showcasing the off-road racing gameplay. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Aerodancing, featuring Blue Impulse, an acrobatic flight simulation game. It highlights the game as the world's first acrobatic flight simulator, featuring Japan's Blue Impulse Air Demonstration Team. The ad emphasizes realistic gameplay with 360-degree views, real aircraft models, and supervision by a former pilot. The woman featured is Mayumi Kajihara from Shape Up Girls, possibly involved in voice work or promotion for the game. The page also includes a recruitment section for game development staff. This page previews the Dreamcast horror-adventure game Carrier from Jaleco. It highlights that the game was showcased at Tokyo Game Show '99 and garnered significant interest. The preview is based on the game show demo, showcasing the established system and events through the latest visuals. The text describes it as a horror action-adventure, emphasizing a survival battle on a giant aircraft carrier. It mentions the game's development is still ongoing, with graphics being improved for its summer release, but the unique atmosphere and gameplay are already compelling. The preview praises the direction, unique spatial representation, and sound that creates a world filled with mystery and terror, anticipating a highly anticipated final product. The page states the game is 44% complete, scheduled for summer release, with price undecided, in the action-adventure genre, and for one player only. The screenshots show in-game environments and characters, including a character in a blue uniform lying on the floor, and another character in a dark corridor pointing a weapon. This page introduces the Dreamcast game Carrier, a horror action title set on a massive aircraft carrier named Heimdall, which has been overrun by mysterious plants and mutated crew members. You play as Jack, a member of the NOA investigation team sent to investigate. But Heimdall's defense systems attack you, forcing you to infiltrate. The game features a multicast system, where you are part of a 5-person team, including NPCs who can assist or give orders. However, trust is a key element, as the enemies are transformed humans, implying that allies may not always be reliable. You can choose to play as either Jack or a female officer named Jennifer. The page highlights 3 weapons: the handgun, a basic weapon, the machine gun for sustained fire, and the T7 bomb, a sticky explosive effective against groups and for clearing paths. Game screenshots showcase the dark, atmospheric environments and intense combat situations, along with a map interface displaying locations like weapon storage and medical rooms. The game emphasizes strategic weapon use and cooperation to survive the horrors within Heimdall. This page introduces the Dreamcast game Illbleed, a survival horror title. The game starts with the protagonist Jack exploring the first floor and discovering a medical room. However, it is full of dead bodies. A voice suddenly commands, "Don't move!" and Jack encounters another survivor. The page highlights the scope item, a crucial tool in the game. It's automatically equipped and used to identify monsters who can disguise themselves as humans. Using the scope brings up a status screen and allows players to use the analog stick to view and analyze targets. The scope displays warnings like danger when a monster is detected and safety when it's a human. The item section explains that items are found in rooms throughout the game and are essential for progressing. These items can be used to unlock doors, create new pathways, and resolve incidents. Items include weapons, recovery items, and even dangerous objects. Moving on. The convergence section details Jack's next objective after the medical room, the security room. Here, he meets Captain Nicholas and learns that 2 security system activation disks are needed to proceed. The NOA Accident Investigation Team section indicates the player's role in investigating the accident and the need to find these disks. This page is a preview for an action-adventure game on the Dreamcast, detailing gameplay in the second layer of a location called Heimdall. The game features a character named Jack who is tasked with confronting a giant, mysterious creature described as a plant-like monster that has taken root. Screenshots show Jack in a dark, overgrown environment and interacting with an interface featuring options like items, talk, and data, and displaying the name Aaron. The text emphasizes the challenging nature of the second layer and the necessity of defeating this colossal being to progress. The game seems to be focused on exploration and combat against monstrous organisms within a strange and dangerous world. The game's atmosphere is described as being a departure from the upper levels, suggesting a shift into a more perilous and mysterious environment. It is hinted that this giant plant-like creature is related to the Ark and is a vital obstacle to overcome to continue Jack's mission, referred to as a death mission. The text also mentions an aircraft elevator as a potential means of further progression after dealing with the creature. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Red Line Racer, which is described as a high-speed bike race game set for release on April 29th for 5,800 yen. The game is 100% complete according to the page. The article highlights the two-player mode and new courses being introduced. It mentions the tournament mode and single race mode, and explains the turbocharge feature, warning players to use it carefully at low speeds. The article also details the GP mode, which allows players to freely set courses and entry numbers for practice. Screenshots show gameplay of motorbike racing on futuristic tracks and menu screens for course and bike selection. This page is a course introduction for Orchard Rain. The course is described as being set in the south of France, Provence region, with narrow roads and undulating terrain, similar in feel to previous courses like Côte d'Azur. The page highlights key sections of the track with numbered points on a course map. Attention is drawn to the initial corners and a jump point before a gentle right turn. Later sections are described as having tight corners amidst natural green scenery and a famous high-speed corner that can be taken at full throttle. Another attention section warns of tricky spoon curves leading to short straights and sudden turns. The page also details the two-player split-screen mode called Overcome Your Rivals, emphasizing head-to-head competition. It mentions a handicap setting to adjust the speed of the second player's machine for fairer matches, and explains the lap gauge in the center of the screen, which is useful in the battle mode to see the time difference between players. The split-screen mode is praised for its speed and sense of presence. The game featured is likely Hang-On GP. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast horror adventure game Nanatsu no Hikan, Senritsu no Bishu, which translates to Seven Mansions, The Smile of Terror. The article highlights the game's atmosphere and gameplay features, noting that it's a playable version from a game show. The game features multiple modes, including main mode and Reina mode, and also two-player cooperative play. The preview emphasizes the analog control and directional pad usage for movement and perspective adjustments, respectively. The game is priced at 6,800 yen and is advertised as a horror adventure title that uses a pair-con system. The preview emphasizes experiencing the Doki Doki heart-pounding feeling with the pair-con controller and recommends playing with a partner you are comfortable with. This page focuses on the Dreamcast game Illbleed and highlights the different experiences players can have depending on the character they choose. It introduces two playable characters, Asuka Kei, a male character, and Shirakawa Reina, a female character. Playing as either character leads to different scenarios within the game, specifically in a location called the Genetic Research Institute. The story involves finding Dr. Ernest McPherson, and choosing either character will lead to a scenario where both characters are together, but the details will differ depending on the initial choice. The page also details the two-player mode using a vertical split screen, which allows for comfortable cooperative play. It mentions a situation where Reina is trapped and in danger from a creature called Ripper, emphasizing the need for the players to work together to save her. Players need to solve puzzles and navigate traps, and communication is key to success in the two-player mode. The game emphasizes puzzle solving and cooperation between players, with the ability to split up and rejoin to tackle challenges. It also notes that weapons are ineffective against the Ripper enemy, and players need to focus on quickly unlocking the door to save Reina before it's game over. This page previews a new RPG game from Sunrise Interactive, planned for release in December 1999. The game, currently at 30% completion, focuses on bringing together robots from various Sunrise anime series in detailed 3D CG. It's described as 3D CG robot action. Featured anime include Mobile Suit Gundam, Aura Battler Dunbine, and Armored Trooper Votoms. Characters like Shart Aznable and Bright Noah from Gundam are showcased, alongside Klin Kasim from Fang of the Sun Dugram. Mecha highlighted are Char Zaku, Dunbine, Bloodsucker, and Dagram. The preview indicates that 11 characters have been revealed for the game so far, with more to come, including important characters from these anime universes. The title hints at a mystery world bewitching star, and the game seems to be creating a crossover experience for fans of Sunrise anime. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Armored Trooper Votoms, Cloudia. The game is set on a planet called Sunrise, covered in a high-density atmosphere and cloud seas, with continents made of light rock. The story revolves around the protagonist, Kanji Akatsuki, a 17-year-old flying trooper pilot, who explores these continents on a cloud ship. He encounters people, robots, and engages in battles and cooperation to understand the world and its inhabitants. Featured characters include Run Forest, a 17-year-old amnesiac girl with a robot companion, and characters from Brave King Gao Gaigar, such as Mikoto Utsugi, Swan White, and Kotaro Okawa, who also appear. The game will feature original mecha designs, the Flying Trooper and Grand Trooper, alongside mecha from various Sunrise anime series. Confirmed Sunrise works include Mobile Suit Gundam, Armored Trooper Votoms, Aura Battler Dunbine, Brave King Gao Gaigar, Galactic Drifter Vfam, and Fang of the Sun Dugram. Screenshots show in-game scenes and character portraits. This page is an advertisement for Shining Force 2i official setting material collection that is about to be released. The book covers scenarios 1 to 3 of the game, featuring character profiles, settings, and game artwork. It also includes creator interviews and newly drawn illustrations, presented as posters. It's described as a must-have item for fans. The page also advertises SoftBank Card Collection for Shining Force 2i. This is a trading card game featuring character cards, movie cards, illustration cards, and special cards. There are over 120 different card types. It also mentions the price and packaging details. The next page is a Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide, highlighting Dreamcast software strategies. It lists several games with their corresponding page numbers. The House of the Dead 2 on page 112, Blue Stinger on page 116, Super Speed Racing on page 120, Kita E, White Illumination on page 124, and Get Bass, known as Sega Bass Fishing internationally, on page 132. The bottom image features racing game screenshots, possibly related to the Super Speed Racing section. This page is a strategy guide for the House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast, focusing on the arcade mode and specifically the third chapter Darkness. It provides route flowcharts for Route A and Route C, which are set in water-based stages. Route A and Route C are detailed with lists of enemies encountered, such as zombies, debriefs, Johnnies, pterodactyls, Bobs, and Rickies. The guide gives tips for dealing with these enemies in the water, advising players to be careful of brown zombies attacking from the water and to prioritize headshots. It also mentions saving male hostages. A 10-branch points section highlights a crucial decision where saving a man being attacked by zombies on the left side of the pier will determine the route taken. Successfully saving him leads to the intended route, while failure results in a different path. The guide advises players to quickly target the zombies attacking the man, as he can get hidden and become very difficult to save if delayed. This page is a strategy guide section for The House of the Dead 2. It focuses on Route B of the game, highlighting that it is more challenging than Route A due to more aggressive enemy attacks. The guide details the sequence of enemy encounters you will face in Route B using a flowchart. A key branching point is explained where you encounter Bob and Ricky on a boat, advising players to defeat Bob first to ensure the possibility of saving a man later in the game. The flowchart for Route B lists enemy types, including Ebitans, Debarutos, Bob, Ricky, Johnny, Cecil, and Steve. There are also brief descriptions of Route C and Route D. Route C involves rescuing a man once within Route B. Route D is similar to Route A, but offers opportunities to rescue men. Finally, the page details the strategy for the boss fight against Tower. This boss is a 5-headed dragon-type poser skyscraper, and the central blue head is the primary target when its mouth is open. The guide points out attack opportunities when the heads return to their original positions after an attack. It notes that if you defeat 4 of the brown heads, the tea-colored head will appear alone, becoming the final target and highlighting its weak point. Screenshots throughout the page visually represent different stages and enemy encounters within Route B. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Biohazard Code, Veronica, known internationally as Resident Evil Code. Veronica. It focuses on the arcade mode, specifically the fourth chapter Despair, and details 3 routes: A, B, and C. Route A advises players to be mindful of branches in the path. Route B is described as having a large number of enemies and high difficulty. Route C, the third route, is noted as being particularly tough. The guide gives specific tips for each route, mentioning enemy types like Kageo, Ken, Ryan, Debiron, Gregory, and Keith, and highlighting important branch points within the gameplay. Screenshots illustrate key moments and enemy encounters. The guide also warns about a boomerang attack in Route C, suggesting players need to be careful of Ryan and his boomerang. Overall, it is a strategy guide focused on navigating the different paths in this section of the game, advising players on enemy encounters and difficulty levels for each route. This page is a walkthrough strategy guide for The House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast, focusing on Chapter 4, Part 1. It details 5 different routes: Route A, B, C, D, and E, each outlining enemy encounters like Kageo, Ken, Ryan, Gregory, and Debiron. The guide offers step-by-step instructions for navigating these routes. A section highlights the strength boss fight, providing gameplay tips, mentioning chainsaw attacks, and aiming for the head. Additionally, there's a note about cooperation HP, and a link to a website called Gassie's homepage for further strategy resources. This Blue Stinger guide focuses on the mid area. Players are first instructed to obtain a code by playing the Jungle Hunter game in the Game Center. This involves destroying targets, retrieving a big gear, giving it to Sandy, and receiving a lock hint. Next, the guide directs players to Rat's Place, where they need to activate a switch to access Rat's Yard, acquire items, and an ID card. Finally, players should visit the fishing tackle shop, defeat the Barracuda Dinocytes to open the back door, and obtain the Piranha Killer at the fishing spot to clear a flooded room. A caution section warns of the powerful humanoid Dinocytes and advises using gunfire to weaken them. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Deep Fear. It details the mid-area and rat yard section of the game, providing a map with numbered locations and item pickups. Key points on the map include enemy placements such as human Dinocytes and Barracuda Dinocytes, item locations like Shotgun Magazine, Railgun Magazine, and Piranha Kill, and vending machines with items like magazines, health items, and sandwiches for purchase using in-game currency. The guide offers advice on navigating the area, particularly mentioning the piranha-infested water sections, and strategies for dealing with them using items. It also highlights an underwater gate area and how to navigate it while avoiding Barracuda Dinocytes. The guide emphasizes collecting items and progressing through the level. This guide details the Run Road area in Dino Crisis. Players must navigate a partially blocked area to reach a power supply facility. The guide provides numbered sections, starting with accessing the area by returning to the Brain Center and finding a card and ID in the Rat's Yard. Players will encounter a crack in the road, which they can bypass by climbing a ladder. A puzzle involving a fuel tank requires a permission card to activate a suction mechanism and remove a lock cap. Laser turrets pose a threat, as the facility's defense mechanisms are active. The accessible Run Road area is only the upper half of the map. A Club Dinozoid mid-boss appears in the tunnel, dropping a Gatling gun upon defeat. A map shows the area layout, enemy locations, and item and save point locations. The next page is a guide for the game Dino Crisis. It explains a key gameplay mechanic involving a large explosion. After breaking a cap, the player must press the A button at control panel number 3, which triggers a powerful fire eruption. Players need to quickly escape along a narrow path to avoid being caught in the flames and getting a game over. It is advised to keep the directional keys pressed forward while running. The page also features a Weapon vs Dino Site ability chart detailing enemy types encountered in the early stages of the game. The chart lists various human Dinocyte and tentacle Dinocyte enemies, as well as other types like Bird Dinocyte and Barracuda Dinocyte, along with their health points and weaknesses. It also lists weapon names with their attack properties like hit, electricity, and fire, categorizing them by player character and attack type, showing damage values for up to 4 hits. Finally, there's a section discussing power supply facilities and what awaits in the research facility. It mentions that computer operation is key to progressing to the next stage, hinting at puzzles and objectives within the research facility. A map diagram shows areas marked 2, 3, 4, and 5, with item locations like Life Pack X2 and Member Mission Card indicated, potentially showing the layout of the level being discussed. This page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Cart, Championship Racing. It announces the release date as March 25th, priced at 5,800 yen, and supports 1 to 2 players. The article focuses on the inclusion of real-life driver Shigeki Hattori as a playable character in arcade mode and super speed mode. To unlock him, players must complete all 19 races in championship mode. The page highlights the ability to use the Acura NSX pace car in the game, stating that it is selectable in arcade mode and is as fast as the champion cars. Screenshots show in-game racing action, car selection screens featuring Shigeki Hattori, and the Acura NSX pace car. The article mentions that the NSX pace car's performance is comparable to championship cars, and driving it in the game is a unique and fun experience. This page focuses on the Dreamcast game Firestone Firehawk 500. It highlights the twin-ring Motegi circuit in Japan, emphasizing its status as a full-fledged oval course. The page acts as a strategy guide, offering insights into the game and the track, suggesting players practice in SSR mode before tackling races. It includes a track map detailing sections like the main straight, Panasonic turn, KOL turn, backstraight, KEN wood turn, and KSIO turn, with screenshots providing visual guides for each section, along with driving tips for each corner, such as braking points and racing lines. The text suggests the course is very realistic and captures the feel of the actual NASCAR experience. This page introduces rounds 16 and 17, featuring 2 race courses, Laguna Seca and Houston, from the Dreamcast game Kart Championship Auto Racing Teams. The Laguna Seca course, located in Monterey, California, is 2.238 miles long. It's described as a popular, sunny road course with a famous corkscrew corner. The tips mention that overtaking is difficult due to medium-speed corners and elevation changes, suggesting overtaking on braking points or straights. The home straight is uphill with limited visibility. Drivers are advised to use half throttle and braking for stable cornering, brake firmly at the corkscrew, and brake late for the final downhill corner. The Houston Street Course, located in Houston, Texas, is 1.68 miles long. It's depicted as a typical American city street circuit, with straights and tight, mostly right-angle corners, including hairpins, set against a cityscape backdrop. The course is mentally demanding because mistakes lead to concrete wall collisions. Overtaking is possible on straights and at straight ends. The course width is narrow, requiring careful braking. Tips include maximizing exit speed before straights, being mindful of narrowing course width, caution on inside lines and right-angle corners, using full throttle on the longest back straight for overtaking, braking firmly at the final ACUTE angled corner, and emphasizing safety and reliability at the hairpin, cautioning against overtaking there. This page showcases strategy guides for 2 racetracks, Gold Coast and Fontana, likely for a racing game on the Dreamcast. Possibly, kart flag to flag. The Gold Coast track in Australia is described as a resort street course, with fast corners and chicanes, requiring precise approach lines, especially in the medium-speed chicanes. It features many compound corners, making it initially challenging, but rewarding to master. Key points are the slightly right-hand bend on the home straight, where understeer is a concern, and the tight final corner. Fontana track in California is an oval course similar to the US 500, emphasizing high-speed racing with wide track width and banked corners that enable easy overtaking. It's recommended for full-throttle battles, but still requires careful throttle control. Key points include the slightly left-hand bend home straight prone to understeer, and utilizing the inside line through turns 3 and 4 due to the wide track. This page is dedicated to minigames within Key-to-E White Illumination, known internationally as North to White Illumination. The page focuses on the UFO Catcher minigame, providing a detailed strategy guide for players. It explains how to unlock minigames by meeting certain conditions within the main game's story mode. For example, playing the UFO Catcher minigame at least once unlocks it permanently in the menu. The page lists several types of plush toys that can be won in the UFO Catcher, associating each with a character from the game. Panda Gel, Kotone, Engel, Yuhei Tanya, Mochi Gel, Yuko Megumi, Ururu Gel, Kaoru, Mimi Gel, Kaho, and Debu Gel, Satsuki. It notes that giving these plush toys to the corresponding girls will increase their affection level. The guide provides step-by-step instructions for playing the UFO catcher minigame, detailing the controls for horizontal and vertical movement of the crane, and how to use the arm power control in a rhythmic button-pressing manner to successfully grab a plush toy. It also offers visual aids, showing the in-game interface and explaining how to judge depth and position to improve catching accuracy. The next page delves into the mechanics of a dating simulation game, focusing on how past choices impact future relationships with characters. The article highlights a scenario around Sapporo Station and features two female characters, Kaho and Yuko. It explains that if players want to pursue either Kaho or Yuko, certain steps need to be taken. Specifically, it details events on Day 4 and Day 5. On Day 4, the strategy guide mentions meeting Kaho at Sapporo Station, emphasizing avoiding meeting her at Teline Olympia earlier, as this will lock out her storyline. On Day 5, another encounter at Sapporo Station is described, this time potentially leading to Yuko's storyline. The page suggests that choices made at certain points will branch the narrative, leading to either Kaho's scenario or Yuko's scenario. It gives advice on how to navigate these choices to successfully pursue each character, mentioning locations like a department store rooftop and a Chinese restaurant as potential spots for deepening relationships. The scenarios are outlined with short character descriptions and plot points, emphasizing the importance of decisions in shaping the romantic outcomes within the game. This page is a guide for the Dreamcast game Natural Style, Megumi Aida. It details how to get closer to the character Megumi, who loves animals and is the daughter of a ranch owner. The guide outlines an event schedule from Day 4 to Day 8, including activities like meeting Megumi at the train station, going to the ranch, having meals together, and going on dates to places like lavender fields and sunflower fields. A minigame called Milking Game is highlighted as important, where caring for the cows before milking is key to success. The guide also mentions dialogue changes based on player actions and offers tips for navigating dates and improving Megumi's affection. This magazine guide details a dating sim with a focus on the character Megumi across 3 in-game days. Day 5 involves a visit to Furano Lavender Farm, featuring an accident that upsets Megumi. Day 6 takes place in Hokuryucho Sunflower Field, including a maze minigame and a hotel stay, where players must probe Megumi's interests and also chase her to the mountains to meet Arai-san and explore her feelings. Day 7 includes a hot air balloon ride at Furano Prince, touching on Megumi's fear of separation and a coffee shop scene. The guide emphasizes the importance of chasing Kuro-chan to a cowshed to witness a cow giving birth, as helping the farmer is key for the best ending with Megumi and her family's gratitude. The walkthrough provides event details, minigame tips, and hints about subplots involving other characters. This page appears to be a guide for a dating simulation game, focusing on 2 female characters named Naka and Yuko. The guide is titled Summer Point Naka Sato, Evening Moon Night and How to Capture It. It provides event charts for both Naka and Yuko, detailing daily schedules and key events to progress in their respective storylines. For Naka's route, the guide mentions events like mistaken phone call, dates at Sapporo Royce, and Kitagawa House. It highlights key interactions and suggests how to respond to Naka's feelings, noting that certain responses might make her feel uneasy. For Yuko's route, the guide focuses on events related to her work in the self-defense forces, including showing interest in her job. It mentions events like meeting Yuko at Sapporo Station, visiting the self-defense force base, and dates at places like Marukoma Onsen Ryokan. The guide provides advice on how to build relationships with both characters, emphasizing the importance of sincerity and understanding their personalities. The Yapari Woman as Evaluation section discusses Yuko's personality and how to approach her, suggesting that seemingly easy choices might lead to unexpected outcomes. This guide outlines dating strategies for a Dreamcast dating sim. The guide details specific events occurring on certain days. On Day 6, a date with Rin at Hitsujigaoka Observatory ends in an argument. This leads to silent phone calls, potentially from Rin. Day 13 involves pursuing Rin after she runs away, and a subsequent conversation about her self-identity. Days 9 and 10 involve a trip to Shikotsu Lake and a potential date with Yuko if you exchange numbers. This trip leads to a tour of the Chikose base. On Day 12, after the tour, Yuko, drunk in Susukino, calls, and the guide advises going to her. The guide emphasizes interactions with Rin and Yuko, possibly working towards a wedding partner goal. This page details a report from the Tokyo Game Show 99 Spring event, focusing on the Kita-He, to the north, booth and activities. The event included fan and staff interactions, with daily stage events and demo sessions. Highlights mentioned are live performances by the Four Seasons Singing Unit, in 2 parts, showcasing energetic stage performances, and a public recording of a radio show featuring voice actors and Hudson staff. A talk show with staff members and voice actors discussed the creation of Kita-He and design aspects. Special Kita-He goods were available at the booth, including original music boxes, single CDs, clear file sets, and telephone card sets as prizes for attendees. The page emphasizes the popularity of the Kita-He booth and the enthusiastic fan engagement at the event. Hudson Soft's Tokyo Game Show booth, inspired by Kita-E White Illumination, won a costume prize. Contests for the game were announced, including a love message contest for letters to the game's girls and a fashion illustration contest for character outfit designs. Judges included the creator, character designer, and voice actresses. Prizes included signed artwork and Teleka cards. The deadline for submissions was April 30th. Detailed rules were provided, including character limits and accepted formats. Participation prizes included Teleka cards, mousepads, and trading card preview packs. Applications required personal information and impressions of the game. The love letter contest was more popular at the time. The article also highlighted cosplayers dressed as characters from the game, showcasing fan interest. This page is a guide for the Dreamcast game Get Bass. It focuses on fishing locations and techniques for catching bass in Lake Paradise. The guide highlights 3 key fishing spots: inlet, lodge, and cape, and recommends different lures and strategies for each location based on weather conditions like sunny, cloudy, or rainy. For example, under sunny or cloudy conditions, inlet and lodge areas are recommended, with deep cranks suggested for inlet and poppers or spinnerbaits for lodge. Rainy weather changes the game, and the guide advises focusing on the shallows at cape, noting that bass become more active and move closer to the surface in the rain. The page gives advice on lure selection and casting techniques for each area and weather type to improve fishing success. This page is a strategy guide focused on unlocking the Palace area in tournament mode for Sega Bass Fishing 2. To unlock this area, players need to achieve first place in the Lake Paradise area. The guide provides tips for fishing during noon, 10:0014:00, and evening, 14:0018:00. For noon fishing, when bass activity is low due to rising water temperatures, the recommendation is to target deep water areas, specifically the inlet, cape, and lodge points, using worm-type lures like straight worms, grubs, and paddle tails. For evening fishing, similar strategies to the morning are effective, focusing on the lodge area and aiming for super big catches. The guide also details lure selection for shallow water fishing, suggesting pencil baits, poppers, and buzz baits to activate bass by creating surface disturbance, especially effective on rainy days. Tips on lure retrieval and analog stick/handle control are also provided, emphasizing smooth, controlled movements and varying retrieval speeds by stopping and starting the handle. The next page showcases a strategy guide for the time attack mode in D2 Shock. It focuses on understanding the map and pylon locations for optimal performance in this snowmobile racing game. The page highlights 6 danger points on the course, labeled A through F, providing visual examples and advice on how to navigate them. Point C, for instance, is noted as being on ice, making controls tricky. There's a suggested pylon order, starting with black, then green, blue, yellow, water, and purple, aiming for the best route. Achieving good times in time attack mode is mentioned to unlock hidden space creature characters named Frobon-kun and Megadasu, which appear on the ranking screen. The page is essentially a guide to mastering the time attack mode in D2 Shock, providing tips for dangerous areas and a suggested route to follow, alongside the incentive of unlocking hidden characters for skilled players. D2 on Dreamcast features several technical innovations. Particle effects enhance realism with dynamic smoke and fireworks. The intelligent camera avoids clipping, maintaining immersion. Snow effects are dynamic, reacting to wind and movement, creating varied snow types and realistic footprints. Enemy interval technology allows for a high enemy count with creepy, snake-like movements. Animation streaming technology enables seamless, longer real-time events by reading data directly from GDROM. Real sound technology supports simultaneous playback of multiple data streams for enhanced audiovisual experiences. The game world will feature animals for added realism, including birds and caribou. A snowmobile time attack contest is being held for D2 Shock Edition owners, with prizes including a snowmobile and travel vouchers. This page is all about Cow from Sonic Adventure. It's a feature highlighting fan-submitted illustrations and comics of Cow, sent in by readers of the magazine. There are several sections showcasing artwork from young readers, mentioning their names and ages, like Yoshikawa Yumi-chan, 6th grade, Kariano Yuri-chan, 2nd grade, and Nakaide Tatsuya-kun, 2nd grade. One section highlights a comic strip drawn by Hanatsuki Renga-chan, from Fukuoka Prefecture, featuring Sonic and Chao. The comic is titled, A Little Bit Scary Chao, and depicts a humorous scenario where Sonic is surprised by a group of Chao emerging from the bushes. Another section features a comic strip drawn by Overs Parchan from Nagano Prefecture, showing Sonic trying to get coconuts for the cow, titled Cow's Daily Life, Flower Garden. The page encourages readers to submit their own Kea-themed artwork and mentions a special feature continuing in future issues. It also includes the magazine's address for submissions, inviting readers to send in their illustrations and goods. This page is about the Chow Chow BBS as a special spring project for Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast. It's an interview with the Chow team developers, Chow Mama/designer Kawamura Sachiko, Chow Papa/programmer Hashimoto Yoshihisa, and Chow Papa/planner Mayakawa Tsukao. They discuss the Cow BBS concept and its integration with the Dreamcast's online capabilities, which allows players to upload and share their Cow creations. The developers mention that the BBS is linked to the Chow Ojiman and Tori Heiki JYO features within Sonic Adventure. They also talk about providing download services for Amekao at events like the Tokyo Game Show, and that players can download rare Chow through the BBS. The Chow Hakase or Cow Doctor feature is mentioned as a way for players to get answers to their Cow-related questions. The page also showcases screenshots of the Chow BBS interface and various types of Chow, including Omocha Chow, Kaba Chow, Kawa Chow, and many others, demonstrating the variety players can encounter in the game. This page is dedicated to Sunrise Robot CG World and focuses on Mobile Suit Gundam, specifically the MS-06 Zaku 2. It is part of a Sunrise Hero Chronicles series and serves as an explanation of the Zaku in the Mobile Suit Gundam anime. The page details that the Zaku 2 is the mass-produced mobile suit used by the Principality of Zeon and is commonly referred to as Zaku. It highlights its versatility and adaptability to various climates and terrains. The article mentions that the Zaku 2 was derived from the earlier MS-05 Zaku and became a pivotal weapon for Zemon in the early stages of the war, including the Battle of Lomatium, significantly impacting the war and leading to the development of the Gundam by the Earth Federation. Technical data for the MS-06 Zaku 2 is provided, including its name, overall height of 17.5 meters, weight of 56.2 tons, and armaments like the 120mm machine gun and Heat Hawk. It also mentions the pilot suit color is moss green. The page features images of the Zaku 2 mobile suit and a Zeon pilot in uniform. A magazine special, Puyo Puyo Name-Winning Prediction Special, showcases 5 reader-submitted Puyo Puyo game title ideas. These include Puyo Puyo Language, battles using different languages, Puyo Puyo Gu, carbuncle-centric mystery, Puyo Puyo 564 inches, a Puyo Puyo murder mystery, Puyo Puyo Gojarashu, a visually rich game with treasure, and Puyo Puyo Chess, Puyo Puyo gameplay with chess-like strategy. Additionally, the magazine features a cleaning enemy side story about Chico and a mysterious book. Readers are encouraged to submit illustrations for Puyo Puyo N and fan postcards about their favorite characters, with prizes of Puyo Puyo merchandise. This page is a manga page for Evolution, The World of Sacred Device, Chapter 4, written by Uekusa. It features a manga story and character introductions. The page introduces 3 main characters. Mag Launcher, a 16-year-old aspiring adventurer from a family of adventurers who is a bit clumsy. Linear canon is a mysterious girl searching for Mag's missing father's treasure and living at his house, possessing strange abilities. Chain Gun is a 15-year-old girl from the rival Gun family, competitive and foul-mouthed, but interested in Mag. The manga story depicts Crown Prince Eugen Ruitbolt of the 8th Imperial Kingdom dramatically appearing before Mag, Linear, and Chain Gun in a car. Eugen presents flowers to Linear, declaring her exceptional beauty and hinting at marriage, much to Linear's initial delight. However, Chaingun gets furious at Eugen's antics and attacks him, initiating a comical fight. During the brawl, Eugen dramatically laments his lack of purpose and suggests becoming a machine, while Chaingun declares she doesn't want to be stuck with him. Afterwards, Eugen, seemingly unharmed, dramatically claims only Linear can save him, leading Linear to consider the appeal of being seen as indispensable. Chaingun concludes the scene by declaring the matter decided. At the bottom, game information states, Evolution, the World of Sacred Device, is an adventure RPG for the Dreamcast, developed by ESP and Sting, published by Sega, and was already released on January 21st for 5,800 yen as a single-player game. This page is a fan page dedicated to Sengoku Turb, featuring various fan contributions. It starts with an apology saying, "Sorry for being late," indicating there may have been delays, but assures readers that Sengoku Turb will continue. One section, Street Corner Turb World, presents fan-submitted stories about encountering the Turb world in everyday life, with one story from Kanagawa Prefecture. Another section, Cosplay Photo Corner finally arrived, showcases photos of people cosplaying as characters from Sengoku Turb, with comments like, "It's cute! Amazing!" The Example, Illustration Athletic Meet section shows fan-drawn illustrations of the game's characters participating in sports day-like events, with different regions of Japan credited for each illustration. The page also details how to submit fan content, including stories, illustrations, and ideas for Sengoku Turb merchandise. It mentions a grading system for submissions, from Puri to Nyapu, indicating a ranking system for fan contributions. The page encourages fans to send in various types of non-genre submissions and highlights that even newcomers will receive prizes. The bottom of the page also contains contact information for submissions to Dreamcast Magazine. This page kicks off with an emergency report about a secretly developed bioweapon article. It discusses a shocking truth about a bioweapon project where humans are being transported in cryogenic devices to a secret facility. They mention something called Suspenda Double Project and talk about using command codes to control zombie soldiers, hinting at a game with a sci-fi horror theme, though the title isn't stated. Next is the Tada Agency column, which is titled, Support Message Rush Open to the Public. Key. This section highlights the overwhelming number of support messages and postcards sent by readers to Tada Agency, and expresses gratitude for this enthusiastic fan response. Below that is a release just before section for Redline Racer Definitely Going. This is a preview for the game Redline Racer, announcing its release in just 20 days. They describe it as an inter-racer and suggest it will appeal to those who appreciate beauty in games and stylish design. Lastly, the Dream Magazine reader section, titled Zukozuke Beauty Study, focuses on reader feedback and opinions, particularly concerning the concept of beauty in games, possibly in the context of racing titles. Screenshots are shown from a vibrant beach racing game featuring jumps and dynamic action, and they discuss readers' interest in games with features like impressive turns and aerial stunts, and the overall aesthetic appeal of games. This page from Sega Saturn magazine presents the contents of the issue and 2 sections of game data. The contents list includes regular features and special reports. The weekly data station section has 2 rankings. The top 5 most anticipated upcoming games based on user votes, led by Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, followed by Street Fighter 03, Friends, The Shine of Youth, Waku Waku 7, and With You I Want to Stare at You. The other ranking shows the top 3 best-selling Saturn games in stores, with Derby Stallion at number 1, Idol Janshi Tsuchipai Secret Album at number 2, and Dungeons & Dragons Collection at number 3. Finally, there's a Sega Saturn release schedule, listing upcoming games with titles like Ryoko's Chat Room, Friends, The Shine of Youth, Pro Guidance Mahjong Hey, With You I Want to Stare at You, Monster Maker Holy Dagger, Street Fighter 03 and Sonic 3D Flicky's Island again, plus Real Sound 2 Mao's Music Box, J-League JIKU Winning 11-6, Wordsworth, Advanced Variable Geo 2, Requiem, Seifuku High School Counselor, and several startling Odyssey games. This page is a Sega Saturn Readers Poll ranking page, titled Reader's Race, featuring a list of 1144 Sega Saturn games ranked by reader votes. It's a comprehensive ranking based on user feedback for all available Saturn software at the time. The page is showcasing the results of this popularity poll, emphasizing that all Saturn software is being evaluated by the readership. This page is focused on the Sega Saturn game Courier Crisis. It's highlighted as a recommended title with review scores from readers and the magazine itself. The game is described as an action title, where you play as a messenger boy on a BMX, delivering packages quickly and efficiently. The review emphasizes the freedom of gameplay, where players can explore San Francisco's streets, performing tricks and stunts on their BMX. It mentions cheat codes are available to enhance the experience further. The page also features a section called Odds Table Turn B, which is a weekly ranking of Sega Saturn games based on reader votes. It lists numerous titles with scores and genres, indicating popular games at the time, such as Puzzle Bobble 3, Sega Ages Power Drift, Wizard's Harmony, and more. It is a reader popularity chart. The editorial staff comments on Courier Crisis, noting that despite limited initial shipments, the game is gaining popularity and repeat orders are coming in. They mention that BMG, the game's publisher, is withdrawing from the game business, making Courier Crisis a rare and valuable item, adding to its appeal. This page is a Sega Saturn popularity ranking chart, showing a list of games with their rank, previous rank, game title, genre, and average score. Some notable games listed include Virtua Fighter, Sakura Wars, Guardian Heroes, Panzer Dragoon, Street Fighter, Daytona USA, Clockwork Knight, Dragon Force, Radiant Silvergun, Astol, and Princess Crown, among many others. The chart presents the games in order of popularity, based on user votes, and includes genre codes and numerical scores for each title. This page is dedicated to the Sega Saturn and Dreamcast. It features game rankings, hardware reviews, and contests. The Odds Table Saturn D ranks numerous Saturn games. The Voices of Senior Horse Owners section provides gamer comments on Saturn and PlayStation software. Odds Table Sega Saturn peripheral devices ranks Saturn accessories like the Virtua Stick Pro and Sega Saturn floppy disk drive. A Soft Saturn general review section reviews Saturn games. A Dreamcast Reader's Race contest is advertised, giving away Dreamcast arcade sticks and visual memory units. Participants submit postcards predicting rankings for Dreamcast titles like Redline Racer and Web Mystery Dream Eating Dreamcat before the April 15th deadline. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast Love Adventure game With You by NEC Interchannel, scheduled for release in July, with the price yet to be decided. The game explores the delicate emotions and relationships of three childhood friends in their adolescence, dealing with the difficulties of expressing feelings and navigating changing dynamics as they grow older. It promises a heart-wrenching story that will draw players in, continuing the narrative from a previous installment, with more information to come with the arrival of spring. The page features artwork of the game's characters and a logo. This page previews a Dreamcast original event called Elsife Academy Group Goes to the Amusement Park. It seems to be an interactive visual novel or adventure game featuring characters from Elsife Academy, including Manami and Nao, alongside Noemi, Sae, and Miyako, visiting the TNW amusement park. The screenshots shown are original scenes taken from the Saturn version, with illustrations by Takashi Hashimoto, who worked on the PC version. The graphics quality is emphasized, hinting at improved visuals for the Dreamcast version and newly added scenarios. The text suggests a fun, light-hearted adventure with potential romantic scenarios involving Manami and Nikeo, and highlights Nikeo's fearless personality, in contrast to Manami's initial perceived fear of thrill rides. This visual journal is one of many scenario-based additions to the game. This page seems to be introducing a story concept involving three characters. It starts with a prologue, describing a childhood friendship between a boy and two girls, Manami and Nao, who met in kindergarten and were always together. The prologue mentions that the boy held feelings for Manami, but they were separated when Manami suddenly moved away. The page then transitions to the second act, indicating a reunion. It explains that Manami has returned, and the feelings from childhood are rekindled, suggesting a first love scenario. The text mentions that the childhood friend Namio is also present, and that their presence is subtly changing their positions. It is set during the summer of their 17th year, and promises a story of unexpected reunions and delicate triangular relationships. The lower part of the page, titled, What Happens When Three People Gather? 6 years of collaborative work, describes a scene where Manami and her younger brother have returned to Sakuramicho, but their parents are still in Myanmar. It seems the girls are helping with moving and unpacking at Manami's home. The text highlights the contrasting personalities of Manami and Nami during this collaborative work in the kitchen, where Nami is leading with instructions and Manami is diligently following. The speech bubbles at the bottom show Namiu asking Manami where she put something, and Manami responding it should be placed in the warehouse. The text suggests this is a portrayal of the characters and their dynamics within the story. Manami Narusa's 6 years. Let's go to the Myanmar exhibition to feel it, recounts Manami's visit to a Myanmar folk exhibition due to her father's company's involvement. Drawn to a pendant with a stone of connection at a jewelry corner, she reflects on a previous experience in Myanmar involving a similar pendant given to her by a young man. The article introduces Manami, a cheerful but clumsy woman who returned from Myanmar after 6 years due to her parents' job transfer. She's accompanied by her childhood friend, Naori Hikawa. Following the exhibition, Manami dreams of a reunion between a young man named Renan and a younger girl, possibly mirroring a manga scene. The dream's themes revolve around love, separation, and reunion. A sidebar featuring Naori highlights her trying on Myanmar clothing and acting like a supportive older sister figure. This page is a strategy guide for the Sega Saturn game Derby Stallion, focusing on breeding high-value racehorses. It introduces a new breeding technique called thought-out breeding and provides example pairings using pedigree charts. The guide emphasizes selecting expensive broodmares and explains how to choose them in the game's market, advising players to consider farm assets and mare pedigree. It presents a practical breeding example involving Sunday silence and private account bloodlines. The article also includes a point column discussing the thought-out breeding method, mentioning it is still under analysis and may involve bloodline combinations and placement of stallions. A small results box shows 23 battles, 5 wins, GI 1 win, representing the outcome of using the suggested breeding strategy in practice. There is also a list of high-priced broodmares and their values in the game market. This page is about effective horse breeding strategies in a horse racing simulation game, possibly for Sega Saturn, based on the Saturn logo visible. It is titled Case 2, Using Magnificent Mating More Effectively, and Case 3, Emphasizing Inbreeding Effects. Case 2 focuses on the magnificent mating concept, explaining its benefits for horse temperament and stamina. Using the example of breeding Nipoteo x Emi Nemina, it shows tables of horse lineage and potential offspring combinations, highlighting inbreeding techniques. It mentions court-martial inbreeding as an example. Case 3 discusses the effects of inbreeding, particularly Northern Dancer, Nearctic, and Nasrullah, using the example Jedi Roberi X across Shukuru. It emphasizes that by using magnificent mating, in conjunction with inbreeding, you can overcome potential downsides, like temperament and physical weakness, and achieve higher-level offspring. The page includes practice results sections, showing win records and Grade 1 victories for both breeding strategies, demonstrating the effectiveness of these techniques in the game. There are also horse profiles with stats like dart, health, growth, temperament, and stamina, indicated with letter grades. This page is all about mastering horse breeding in a Sega Saturn game. It dives into 2 breeding strategies, Case 4 and Case 5, to help you create winning racehorses. Case 4 focuses on something called interesting combination, using black tie affair and double meaning horses. It breaks down the lineage and suggests pairings to achieve this combination. The page shows a practical result of this breeding strategy, highlighting a horse that won 12 races out of 39 starts, including a G1 victory. Case 5 discusses Nix breeding, using Amber Shaddai and Bamber Atlas crossed with Pollux. This section also details horse lineages and combinations to achieve successful Nix breeding. It shows a practical result for this strategy too, with a horse achieving 7 wins out of 30 starts, including a G2 victory. Essentially, this page is a guide to understanding and implementing advanced horse breeding techniques in a Sega Saturn game, probably a horse racing simulator, to improve your stable and win races. This page provides a strategy guide for the horse racing simulation game Derby Owners Club. The page highlights several key aspects of the game, focusing on breeding and training for success in the BC Cup. It explains how to judge a foal's speed potential based on its selling price, and how ideal body weight influences acceleration. It discusses the advantages and disadvantages of different running styles, and how to prepare for BC Cup races, especially for deep divers, which seems to be a particular type of horse or racing style. The guide emphasizes the importance of thoroughly checking 3-year-old horse comments to understand their abilities. It details the purpose of paired horse and full gallop training methods. Password checks are also presented as having multiple uses for game strategy. And finally, the page offers tactics to improve race performance and avoid jockey changes, crucial for consistent winning. This page is a special interview with Hiroshi Sonobe, discussing the Derby Stallion series. It mentions new breeding theories in the Saturn version, including miraculous combination, 4x3, and two new theories, spectacular combination and thoughtful combination, with thoughtful combination being considered higher priority. The interview touches on the difficulty in finding these combinations in the game, suggesting players use a grapevine method once they find one. The interview also discusses the game's graphics, with Sonobe stating that the enhanced hardware performance is used to improve the graphics, but this wasn't the primary motivation. He mentions player feedback desiring a full gate of 18 horses in races, similar to real horse racing. He acknowledges the visual impact of modern games but emphasizes the importance of gameplay over graphics, citing recent RPGs that prioritize realism but feel unnatural. Regarding game mechanics, it's mentioned that in Derby Stallion, player-produced horses that achieve good results are not automatically added to the stallion list. This is a deliberate design choice to encourage communication among players, making in-game horse breeding a shared topic of discussion rather than an individual pursuit. Finally, it briefly mentions another of Sonobe's works, Best Play Pro Baseball, describing it as a baseball simulation game where players manage a team, with players able to directly control players or issue simple commands. Hiroyuki Sonobe, creator of the Derby Stallion, the Beasta series, discusses his game design philosophy. He views games as vessels for user-generated stories, contrasting with pre-written narratives. He acknowledges the challenge of achieving realistic horse appearances in racing games, recalling a humorous anecdote about all horses looking alike. Sonobe envisions online features like virtual races and horse trading, fostering player interaction and community. He draws from his personal experiences as a horse owner, emphasizing the unpredictable nature of horse racing. Ultimately, Sonobe aims to create games that are places where stories are born, offering users a world to explore and shape, differentiating from the author-centric nature of movies or novels. The next page features Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3, Departure Poem. It announces Omake Scenarios, bonus stories called Rainbow Iroh Sai Aftermath, which includes Rainbow Graduation Ceremony and Sai's Graduation Ceremony. These scenarios are unlocked after achieving a happy ending in the main game, if you have clear save data from Rainbow Youth and Rainbow Love Song on your power memory. The page includes a review section titled Departure Poem Review, 10 Reasons for the 10 Points, discussing points raised by the editorial department regarding their 10 out of 10 score in the previous issue. Questions addressed in the review include concerns about loading times and button responsiveness, as well as emotional investment in the characters. The reviewer concedes some minor issues but defends the score, suggesting that the game's core appeal and universal themes make it enjoyable for a wide audience, even those new to the Tokimeki series. This page is a preview for a game titled Kanamachi Miharu Story, which seems to be part of the Tokimeki Memorial series and focuses on the character Miharu Kanamachi. The story, set around February 16th, revolves around the protagonist's unrequited love for Shiori Fujisaki and the anxieties surrounding graduation. It mentions a mistaken phone call being the start of the story and explores themes of self-doubt and the feeling of wasted time during high school. The page discusses how these anxieties are relatable and a key theme of the game, comparing it to Neon Genesis Evangelion in its exploration of human insecurities. The article highlights the scenario's depth and the developer's intention to create an adventure game experience within the Tokimeki world. This page is a strategy guide for the game Tokimeki Memorial, focusing on the character Shiori Fujisaki. It details events that occur between February 21st and 25th, starting with a ski resort trip. The guide explains the flow of the ski resort event on February 21st, highlighting activities like taking photo stickers at the lodge and visiting the indoor pool, where you can see Shiori and another character, Mie Kuribayashi, in swimsuits. Mie Kuribayashi will appear after a few turns at the lodge. It also covers memory events taking place from February 22nd to 25th after school. These events are triggered if you choose to linger and walk home with Shiori after the ski trip and perform certain actions. The page outlines the conditions needed to trigger both the ski resort event and the subsequent memory events, noting phone calls and character interactions required beforehand. It also details the event sequences for each season, spring, summer, autumn, and winter memory events, explaining how to trigger and conclude them. Finally, there's a character talk section focusing on Fujisaki Shiori, discussing her personality and role within Tokimeki Memorial, and how she might be perceived compared to other characters in the game. This page is a guide focused on the marathon game training aspect within a Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series game, detailing how to efficiently raise character parameters for success. It explains the role of each parameter: body weight, muscle strength, rhythm, roots, and stamina in relation to running performance in the marathon. It highlights that stamina is the most crucial parameter and recommends mountain training to improve it effectively. The page includes a table showing the minigame effects on parameters, listing games like 21st Date, aerobics, swimming with Kiyokawa, word game, and cooking game, and the stat boosts they provide. Finally, it features a character relationship diagram illustrating character connections such as classmate, childhood friend, and friends within the Tokimeki Memorial universe, showing characters like Fujisaki Shiori, Kanrinen Miho, and others, and their relationship types. This page is about the Sega Saturn game Kiss Yori and provides strategy tips for players aiming for a bad ending in the game. It details 3 different patterns or methods to get rejected by the character Chihiro. The page explains that while there are multiple ways to get rejected, a key factor is to consistently avoid dating Chihiro. It also mentions that there are events with Chihiro's sister, Ringo, offering further gameplay. The page features screenshots from the game and character profiles, including details like blood type, favorite things, and personality traits for a character named Mr. Oshikoi. It also introduces a section about replaying the love story, focusing on childhood friend Chihiro and their reunion, and mentions the protagonist's feelings of jealousy towards Chihiro's boyfriend. This page is a strategy guide focused on Ringo, a character from a Sega Saturn game, likely a dating sim. The guide provides a flowchart to navigate Ringo's events within the game. The flowchart outlines a series of steps across August, starting from August 5th and going up to August 31st. Each step has a date range and conditions to trigger the next event, often based on clear number, suggesting the number of other character routes or events completed. These events are tied to specific dates and locations, aiming towards a successful resolution with Ringo. There is also one-point advice section that highlights the necessity of completing all heroine routes to successfully or get together with Ringo in the game. This implies Ringo is a special or final character route that requires prior completion of other main characters in the game. The next page introduces a special project to commemorate the release of Ryoko's Room Under One Roof, which is also described as a gathering page for Ryoko-chan and her fans. This corner is a 2-part limited series focusing on Ryoko Inu from the Roommate Inu Ryoko series. DATAM is providing rare items as prizes, and they are holding a quiz for fans to win. The page highlights 3 games in the Roommate series: Roommate Inoue Ryoko, Roommate Ryoko in Summer Vacation, and Roommate 3 Ryoko Wins Shining Morning. There's a quiz with 5 questions related to the Roommate games, and those who answer correctly can win prizes like phone cards featuring images A, B, C, and E, and a poster, image F. DATAM's message mentions this being the 5th game in the Roommate series, reflecting on the time spent with Ryoko. The DATAM homepage address is also provided: http://www.datam.co.jp. Hints for the quiz can be found in the game manuals and interviews. The next issue will feature the voices of Ryoko-chan and Tomoko Fujino. An interview with Galaxy Fraulein Yuna creator, Mr. Akira, highlights the new F-Cole Galaxy Fraulein Yuna blind box trading figures. The 10 cm figures feature Yuna, Yuri, Polilina, Ayako, and Bai Sheng in 11 variations including color, clear, and a special edition. Mr. Akira, pleased with the quality, particularly valued including previously unfigured characters like Ayako and Bai Sheng. The figures are priced at 780 yen per pack, or 9,360 yen for a box of 12, and release in late April. A prize campaign offers a signed illustration. To celebrate the release, a special event will be held April 25th in Akihabara, Tokyo, with a signing session for the first 200 box purchasers. This page is an advertisement for GM Creation Volume 2, priced at 690 yen. It's promoting the magazine by showing positive feedback from readers who bought the first issue, thanking everyone for their support, and suggesting that the magazine will continue. There are snippets of reader reviews expressing enjoyment of the magazine and giving a thumbs up. The image features a pair of jeans with a handheld console peeking out of the pocket. Hello! Capcom Volume 85 previews several Capcom releases. The Gigawing original soundtrack is scheduled for April 21st, featuring music by Takumi Corporation and artwork by Kairio Winter Sea. A Resident Evil 2 drama album, Living Female Spy Ada, focusing on Ada Wong, also releases on April 21st and offers buyers a chance to win exclusive merchandise. The magazine provides a developer scoop for Street Fighter II-I, Third Strike, detailing the developer's vision for a unique experience inspired by Haruomi Hosono's music, with consideration given to RAP music, alongside the challenges of soundtrack creation and the positive atmosphere at Capcom. Gameplay screenshots are included. A side section features Power Stone Volume 7, with developer Kitamura Masaya discussing his involvement, his favorite characters, Fokker and Rouge, and his online player interactions. This page from the Sega AMR&D Department No. 3 official corner is focused on Crazy Taxi 2 Rush. Axel and BD Joe are featured as navigators, providing driving tips for the game, specifically in the initial area. They're essentially giving a "How to Drive Coolly" lecture. The guide highlights strategies for navigating the cable car stop top and cable car stop bottom locations, using screenshots to illustrate gameplay and advice for these areas. Axel points out that at the cable car stop top, customers often want to go to the cable car stop bottom. BD Joe emphasizes the importance of drifting for smooth stops at these spots, and also mentions a technique of backing up right at the start of the game to pick up customers who want to travel long distances. This page is focused on tips and tricks for the Dreamcast game Crazy Taxi. Joe and Axel are giving advice for different areas, like Westside Beach and Pizza Hut, recommending drifting to impress spectators and navigating specific landmarks. They discuss techniques for attracting crowds at locations like Cable Car Stop BOTOM, Seaside Market, Yacht Harbor, Cafeteria, and Square Park. The page also details a special move called Crazy Backdash by Gina, explaining how to execute it by using Crazy Dash, then quickly shifting into reverse gear, noting that hitting something before shifting to reverse will cause it to fail. Finally, the page introduces 4 spectators. Cindy, who likes tram and popcorn, Sandra, who is interested in new shops and cute accessories, Pierre, who is buying flowers and planning a cafe visit, and Rachel, who is studying to be a nurse and enjoys going to the beach and Tower Records. This strategy guide from Sega AMR&D Department No. 1 focuses on Episode 4 of Zombie Revenge, Areas South Union Railway AM 5 o'clock. The level places the player on a runaway train filled with zombies, carrying bombs and bacteria. It emphasizes increased difficulty and stronger enemy types. The guide provides specific advice for each train car. Car 1 requires quick attacks and effective guarding. Hidden Room 1 yields items. Car 2 features normal zombies. Fighting in the center is advised. Hidden Room 2 contains life recovery. Car 3 encourages acquiring the machine gun using dash attacks against mini-zombie and zombie dog combinations. Continuous firing is recommended. Hidden Room 3 provides life items. The boss car necessitates the machine gun and L-dash attacks. Hidden Room 4 holds dynamite, which must be cleared with punches. The next page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game, The House of the Dead 2. It features tips for defeating 2 bosses, UDS-07 Nikel and UDS-06B, or Nikelle. The guide advises guarding when the boss flies to the background and then counterattacking, and to use short bursts of 56 shots when attacking. For UDS-06B, the guide recommends dashing to avoid the poison breath when the boss lowers its head, and to wait before dashing to the opposite side to dodge the laser attack, then counterattack after dodging. The page also mentions weapon pickups within Area 6 Cassandra AM215, such as a guitar-shaped machine gun and grenades, offering advice on using grenades effectively against zombies and mini-zombies in this area. It also highlights the importance of using variable shots against the slime boss. This page presents Airline Pilots for the Sega Dreamcast, a brand new flight simulator game. It emphasizes the authentic operation experience, allowing players to feel like they are controlling a real large passenger aircraft. The game boasts realistic controls, highlighting the joystick for roll and pitch, rudder pedals for yaw and changing direction, and throttle lever for engine power adjustment. It also shows the view switch button and flap/landing gear switches. The page promotes accessibility for all skill levels, featuring an auto control mode for beginners focusing on joystick and rudder pedal operation, and a full control system for experienced players seeking a more in-depth simulation. The text suggests an immersive experience, where players can enjoy the thrill of flying in the vast sky. This page is focused on Airline Pilots, a realistic flight simulator arcade game that uses a 3-screen cabinet to provide an immersive experience with stunning graphics, thanks to the full cooperation of Japan Airlines, JAL. The game offers two main modes. Flight mode allows players to freely fly within the time limit, enjoying the scenery and freedom of the skies, with the option to extend the flight time. Training mode is designed to improve pilot skills with 5 training lessons. These lessons cover essential skills like takeoff, turning, landing, engine trouble avoidance, and bad weather scenarios. The game is set in a detailed recreation of Tokyo and Haneda Airport, allowing players to spot famous landmarks during their flight. The game is positioned as a fun and engaging way for anyone to experience the thrill of piloting an aircraft. This page is a promotional advertisement for the WonderSwan console, announcing its release date on April 16th for 590 yen. It's packed with information on upcoming titles for the system, spanning various genres. You can see titles like Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon for WonderSwan, Digital Monster Vare, WonderSwan, Densha to Go, and Shanghai Pocket. There are also games like Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Tukan Retsuden, Goraku Otango, Wonder Stadium, and Sangokushi for WonderSwan. Puzzle games are represented with Puyo Puyo Tsu, and there are titles such as Umi Tsuri ni Iku and Nobunaga's Ambition for WonderSwan. Further down are titles like SD Gundam Emotional Jam, Nison, and Ganso Jajamaru-kun. There's even a parenting quiz game called Kosodate Quiz Dokodemo My Angel. Action titles are also present such as Super Robot Wars Compact and Beat Mania for WonderSwan. Klonoa. Moonlight Museum is also advertised, alongside peripherals like the WonderSwan Handy Sonar. Other titles include Metaroad, Perfect Edition, Space Invaders, and Last Stand. The page also mentions card games, with Tekken Card Challenge and Varwitz Blade, along with action titles like Chaos Gear and Anchor's Field. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Ikari Shinji Racing Project, Pocket Fighter, Trans Collection Swan, Crazy Climber, and Nihon Pro Mahjong Renmei Kunin Tetsuman are also listed. Puzzle games continue, with Puzzle Bobble, Detective Conan, and Magical Drop. The page also highlights a special feature called Legend of Gunpei Yokoi. This page presents the weekly Dreamcast astrology forecast. It covers all 12 zodiac signs from Aries to Pisces, providing insights into general luck, love, health, and work for each. For each sign, there's advice given to both boys and girls, along with lucky colors or items mentioned. The illustrations depict cartoon sheep for Aries, cows for Taurus, twins for Gemini, crabs for Cancer, lions for Leo, virgins for Virgo, scales for Libra, scorpions for Scorpio, archers for Sagittarius, goats for Capricorn, water bearers for Aquarius, and fish for Pisces. The general layout is a colorful and easy-to-read horoscope guide. This page is an advertisement for reader prizes from Dreamcast Magazine. There are 4 prize categories: Dreamcast-compatible software, a Roku Nandesu 2 Plus strap set, a Capcom secret file, and a black matrix telephone card. The page also promotes the next issue, Volume 15, highlighting new title announcements and Dreamcast news. Games mentioned for the upcoming issue include Framegride, World Neverland Plus Orude Kingdom Story, Shenmue, Soul Calibur, EGG, Climax Landers, and Sunrise Ayutan. It also mentions Dreamcast strategy guides and new information on Sega Saturn games like Perfect Follow and Derby Stallion, and also Ryoko's Talking Room. The issue promises a complete guide for Blue Stinger, Super Speed Racing, White Illumination, and Nobunaga's Ambition. This page is an advertisement for digital racehorse newspaper My Trackman on Dreamcast, a horse racing game. It highlights the Dreamcast's online capabilities to download the latest horse racing news and past results. The ad features logos of several horse racing publications and lists the game's information service features, including news, predictions, and odds. It also mentions that the game is available at major retailers like toy stores and Lawson. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Framegride from Software. It highlights the game as a 3D combat mecha action title, where players pilot giant robots in a fantasy world. The game features include customizing your mecha with parts and weapons, and a Relevate system to enhance your machine's abilities. The ad mentions network battles are also available. Screenshots show in-game mecha combat. The game is advertised with the tagline, "Everything is conveyed to the 5 senses," and is slated for release this summer.